Hi, everybody. We're here to react to some games that they're going to be talking about today. Microsoft is going to be showing off a bunch of stuff. Most importantly, Devil May Cry 5 for me, which there is apparently a 15-minute demo out, which I haven't watched yet.
Yeah.
IGN's got some direct feed.
That's the IGN. That's
yeah.
it. Okay. Yeah, I knew there was like some reason we couldn't show it, but I was trying to remember which one it was because there's been a lot of other gameplay leaks and exclusives and etc.
Right.
So there's a lot happening this morning.
We're in the eye of the storm right now when it comes to Gamescom. It's like things are going to be hitting us from all directions. Apparently, I was looking at chat, Biomutant they're showing off, and that looks really good.
Yeah.
Which I would love to see.
And Darksiders, both from THQ Nordic, are there. And that Darksiders trailer looked really good.
And there was a new one this morning that popped up. Okay, I'll have to watch that. Cool. Yeah, not to slant this too heavily, but it's just we've been waiting for Devil May Cry 5 gameplay for so long. What would you hope to see from kind of a first reveal, knowing that we haven't watched the IGN stuff yet?
Well, what I hope to see, I think one of the things that you really want to see at this point is actually something that looks in some form familiar, because I think that DMC being such a big departure in such its own style,
right?
That it's like you want to see Devil May Cry evolve, but you still want to be confident that core feel of the original games is still there, is still part of what this Devil May Cry is going to be. And then to be able to mix it up as well.
Yeah, and it's been such a long time, not just from Devil May Cry 4, obviously, but even DMC. It's been a very, very, very long time since we've gotten anything Devil May Cry related. So I agree that you kind of want to see that familiar core there. A tidbit that I was alerted to is that there's an auto combo mode, at least in the demo that IGN played because it was on. How do you feel about that? Do you think that takes anything away? Do you think it's good for new people to get into it?
It reminds me of the Bayonetta Easy Automatic, which they showed off, and it was like, you can just mash this button and all this cool stuff happens. And I think that probably actually can work in its favor because there are a lot of different things that move lists and stuff to memorize and all of that, and I think it's a good way to kind of get people initiated and get comfortable without feeling completely overwhelmed, as long as there's still some form of pushback from the enemies that you at least have to move out of the way or counter or something. Like the combos doesn't necessarily have to be the entire focus of what you're doing.
The chat is correcting me. Apparently, auto combo has been in DMC before.
Oh, okay.
Which I've not used. So that is news to me. So thank you, chat, on that correction. So this is not some new crazy thing that they're doing. Devil May Cry 5. I don't want to misrepresent that. But yeah, Devil May Cry 5. I think the other thing that the biggest thing I think that we got from the E3 reveal was kind of the attitude. Really? Specifically of Nero, where he had a lot of that swagger that I think you would associate with Devil May Cry. And Devil May Cry has obviously been around for a very long time now, and as times change, I think general audiences change. You have a bunch of new people come in that what was once cool may not be cool anymore. Is there anything that you're worried about with the tone of Devil May Cry? Do you think people will take to it? Do you think that's even a concern? It should just be what it is? Or do you think it will feel different at all from past Devil May Cry games?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some differences there in terms of kind of the tone and the color, and everything feels a little bit more worn to it. But I think... Yeah, I think that the cheesiness has always sort of worked in Devil May Cry's favor. I think having fun with everything works in their favor.
Yeah.
And so, you definitely don't want to see them go too crazy serious or anything like that. But, yeah, trying to balance that with, making a story that you actually kind of want to know more about what these characters have been doing all this time, what's going on.
Yeah.
What's the backstory behind just what the heck they've been doing, why they're riding around town together.
I want to move on to Fallout 76 because I think that's another game that we still have a lot of questions on, and is really intriguing to me. So at QuakeCon, they went over the perk system, and they kind of elaborated more about character progression. But if they were to show off new stuff for Fallout 76 here, or elaborate on anything, what would you want to know about?
Man, I feel like we've had such an info dump. It's kind of it's hard to like piece together without more prep early in the morning, like what we know and what we don't know at the moment. But I feel like it's definitely a game where I want to see that gameplay from different perspectives. Like I want to see a scenario play out. I think really. Because I feel like we've heard a lot of, like I said, like a lot of information, a lot of high concept stuff, some basic gameplay. But like I want to see, you know, what a couple of different groups that meet each other out there in the wild, and what ends up happening, what kinds of choices you can make. You know, whether you're going to team up, whether you're going to double cross somebody, you know, how that is all going to play out. And I would like to see that in you know, something that feels like a realistic gameplay demo.
Yeah, I would have to imagine in a game where you just have so much space to explore with your friends, it would be hard to potentially make that interesting for something like this, for a showcase, to give you an accurate sense, but to also be like, no, there is a lot going on, maybe just not at all moments if we drop you in immediately. So I think that's always an interesting balance. From the rest of the Xbox showcase, and maybe just in a general sense overall, what do you hope to see? What do you expect to see? What do you think still kind of needs to show a little bit more to get you on the hook?
I think number one is redacted on that teaser image. Xbox has a new game to show, and
do you have any theories on what that is?
I don't have a theory at the moment. So you know, we know it's, you know, clearly not one of their biggest heavy hitters. And then you think about the teams that they just acquired. I kind of wonder, being Gamescom, whether there would be anything at all, like any kind of teaser for Ninja Theory's next game. It's been a year since Hellblade. They've worked on porting that to other systems. And Microsoft decided, hey, let's partner with them, let's buy them. So I wonder if there's some early footage we might get to see from Ninja Theory's game.
Yeah, do you think with Ninja Theory they would have some sort of follow-up to Hellblade, or they would go in a completely different direction?
I don't think follow-up in terms of like continuation of story or anything.
Do you think you could do the same?
Be. It was very successful.
Right. Not only was it very successful, but it just seemed like such a positive experience for them.
Right.
Where they're like, hey, we're really going to take ownership over this. We're going to go in our own direction. And they just, rightfully so, had so much pride in that game that I think some sort of expansion in that world, even if it's not a continuation of the story, would make a lot of sense to me.
Sure.
And I'd be excited about.
I just feel like, you know, kind of what we saw with Rise of the Tomb Raider. If you take like an existing franchise and then you make an exclusive to it, like, or a sequel to it exclusive, then that just like warrants all kinds of, you know, management of the audience and you know, PR and stuff. You know, it was out on PlayStation first. Right.
You had that with Bayonetta not that long ago.
Yeah, so I think it would probably be best for them if they struck out into something entirely fresh and new.
So things that I feel like we do already know a lot about. You and I have actually both played Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I really liked what they showed at E3 with a little bit more of the stealth, a little bit more of like kind of the core gameplay. Would you want to see an expansion on that, or something kind of completely new?
It's starting.
Oh, it's starting. All right.
I'm on their Twitch page and it's not.
Technical
difficulties. I had a
difficulties.
refresh there. There we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is Twitch being Twitch.
Game industry has to offer. Furthermore, Gamescom offers different activations during the week, like concerts and side events, which in total brings 500,000 gaming fans to the city. This is a week of celebration towards the exploration of video games, showing that this culture is more than gaming. It's a way of living, it teaches, it brings people together.
And yeah, we also don't know exactly
This
what
is
to expect
gamescom
from this show
2018.
because
What
it is like an
presents
episode
culture
of their
better
show
than local food?
and not
And for
like a
Germans,
press
you might think
conference.
we eat
Right.
Schweinsbraten every day. As Bavarians, I would say, yeah, we maybe do. But in Cologne, we have this one specific local dish called Kölscher Kaviar, which means caviar of Cologne. So it's not fish eggs. It's actually blood sausage. It's bread. It's mustard. It comes with butter, and it's very delicious and also very cheap.
Okay.
I think that looks great.
Hey.
I think that castle looks even
And
better.
this is
That's,
Cologne.
cathedral.
So behind me, you see
That
the Cathedral of Cologne, which goes back to the
Cathedral of
medieval
Cologne.
times and attracts 20,000 people a day. But besides this awesome Gothic architecture, I have a second favorite spot I want to show you.
I would be okay with just a
So
tour of
this
Germany.
You
is
never got to
actually
go
not
to
far away
Gamescom,
from the
right?
I've never
Cathedral
been
of
to
Cologne,
Gamescom,
and you
no.
might wonder
pretty cool.
why are there so many locks here? So it has become a local tradition.
We
If you want to
we
express
stayed
your
at a
love for
hotel
someone,
like right
you
on the
get a
other
lock,
side of
you
this
get your
bridge,
names
so we
engraved, you
would
put it
make
on the
this
fence,
walk
and
every
it's
day to
sealed
go to the
forever.
convention.
And because
I
we
would
love
like
you guys
Huber to
so
put a
much,
lock
I
on that
have
bridge
made
that is
a
just
lock
Shenmue
as well.
and just
What I'm going to do is find a spot
his true
and
love.
seal our love forever as well.
The Xbox lock.
I hope you
That's
enjoyed
so
this
cheesy
cruise
and
tour
wonderful.
through the city that hosts hundreds of thousands of gamers every year at Gamescom. And now it's time to kick
Is
off some brand
Gamescom-
new games and
how is
announcements.
navigating
It's time
Gamescom? I've heard
for
nightmare
Inside
stories.
Xbox.
The biggest nightmare is just that there are two business halls, and they're about a 10-15 minute walk away from the press center. And so we'd have an editor camped out in the press center, and we'd have to like go back and forth with camera crews and so.
Live from the Xbox booth right here in wonderful Cologne, Germany.
That
First-
sounds-
Today,
first couple of
select
days
industry
are,
insiders will be hitting the floor,
are
but
press
tomorrow,
business only.
thousands of
So it's not that
fans and
bad.
gamers will flood through this
Third
massive
day,
show floor.
people start rolling in, gets
Just
kind
last
of
year,
nuts.
We had over 300.
You do not want to be there on the weekend.
50,000
Just get
fans.
out.
It is just
Just
a massive
do not
show.
be there.
It's humongous, and because it's humongous, we thought it was only right that we kick it off with an epic episode of Inside Xbox. So stick around for a stack of exclusive Xbox news, interviews, and never-before-seen stuff that's gonna blow your mind.
I know, Internet, you're at it, you're trying to figure it out. You don't have to wait long. Now, if you're watching on Mixer, we've got a mix pot all ready for you with digital items for Forza and Sea of Thieves. If
Is
you're not
mix
on
pot
Mixer,
an official
it's
term?
not too late.
Yeah.
Tune in
Okay.
and make sure you're signed in with your Microsoft account to get some
Can we have a mix pot?
free stuff.
I like free stuff.
I
And for you, all of
mean,
this
I don't
goodness
know.
we have
I
rounded
don't know
a
if you
platter
could make your
of
own mix
international
pots.
hosts to serve you today. Myself, Larry Herb, Xbox Live's Major Nelson, Graham Boyd, AC Bongos.
But yeah, see, like,
Julia Hardy,
this is in the
Rory
booth,
Alston,
and
Betty
it's
Perkin,
fairly
Jeff
empty today.
Rubenstein, and Maxi Graf.
In
Germany's
2
own
days,
Maxi
there will
Graf
not be
Cologne.
any floor that you
That's
can
a
see.
great,
Won't be able to
guide
move.
Cologne there,
Did you see
wasn't
the little lock? What a great
Wonderful,
idea.
huh? So romantic.
All right, let's jump right into it with today's first exclusive reveal.
Okay. Player chatter. Whoa.
Yeah, this is the Hunt Showdown.
Oh, okay. I hope this isn't the redacted.
There's another team coming in.
This is the hunt, really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is the Hunt.
Yeah, we did.
The interface looks very Hunt Showdown-y.
Yeah. Hunters.
Yeah, this definitely is.
For some reason, I thought that game had a totally different.
This game is incredibly
Era.
intense, trying to figure it out and just getting destroyed immediately. But very intriguing.
I'm gonna try to take this guy on.
I'd love to play more of it.
Fast. And then I think
Yeah, I know Huber is definitely into it for a while.
second clue coming up. See if you can find it in darkness.
Found the clue, next room.
Well, it is a shotgun, so doesn't take much. I had not seen that.
Yeah.
Less into the game now.
Oh.
Yep, maybe not. Maybe not my thing.
See us now on the map.
Maybe not my thing.
they are all over us. Get out of here.
One play inside here, burning springs coming out to you.
Yep. Now.
Shoot him!
Right around the corner. We got two around the corner.
Side note, I actually think like if you're gonna do game chatter that was a little bit better. It didn't feel
Yeah,
as
I mean,
forced
it feels
and
like
focused
they
on.
just recorded real game chatter.
Yeah. It's just kind of going along with the trailer, which I like.
How many kills you got? I think I shot two.
Yeah. Xbox game preview, very nice.
Achieved with CryEngine.
Hallo und herzlich willkommen. A very warm welcome to our first guest, Fatih and Magnus from the German studio Crytek. Nice to have you guys here. How
Nice to
Nice.
be here.
So what are you guys here to announce today?
Well, we are happy to be here today to announce that Showdown will be coming to Xbox Game Preview.
Oh, yes. The trailer was beautiful. Some beautiful water features there. Do a nice bit of moonlight. It looks very sexy.
Yeah, we saw actually a lot of things.
Of all the things to pick up out of that trailer.
Yeah.
We saw the awesome gothic western setting. So for
Sexy
the people
water.
who are not like not know of Hunt Showdown, what is it all about?
What Hunt is about? Yeah. So Hunt is basically a competitive first-person monster hunting game. So what that means is you are a bounty hunter and you kill monsters for gold. So the whole setup is like you have a map. It's about 1K map. It's a sandbox map. You can go wherever you want.
All right.
You can choose your playstyle and say somewhere there's a monster on the loose.
Oh, interesting.
So the game is kind of it follows like three phases, right? First off, you narrow down the boss's location.
Okay.
All the teams is trying to get there first.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So you do that by finding clues. You find clues because you have a darkness within you.
Okay.
In our game, there's no good
You're
guys.
right. I do have a
Everybody's
darkness
pretty-
within me.
Think for
I mean,
yourself.
yeah, I was gonna
Everybody
say.
badass, man. Don't trust a thief, right? So you're a little bit of evil yourself. Now, when the monsters break through into our realm, they leave a bit of rifts in the world. So when you find them, you use your power, and you make a connection to the boss. And when you do, the region shrinks. It's almost like in PUBG, except we have took it a lot further.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
Those survival games, right? So you need to do it a few times, and then you look into where. Obviously, there's a bunch of AI in the way. We have a challenging AI cast. They challenge you differently. You have a lot of tools and gears to deal with them differently, right?
Yeah.
If I'm really loud and I shoot everything I see, everybody in the map hears
Kill
me.
spider.
So, I mean, once you get to the boss, though, there's a kind of next phase you were telling us about.
Sorry?
Once you get to the boss, and once you've defeated the boss, what happens after that? Because it's not over when that happens, right?
Okay, so basically, the goal is to kill the boss.
Yeah.
Now, to get to the token, to the prize, which you're going to sell back for money, you get to banish them to hell. That's off a little timer, so the other guys get there also. And that's what we call the showdown. Everybody collapses, right?
Okay.
Or
That's what we do,
there's
use the
also,
other guy's
like,
bait.
In our game, you can express
Get in
yourself
there, I'll
in a
poke it
lot
with
of
this.
ways. So we can have some people go out and wait outside for some guy to take it and run, and he attack him.
Yeah.
So the person who takes up the bounty, we call it the hunter becomes the hunted at that point.
Right.
That's like a big switch in the game, in the gameplay. The whole gameplay changes. And honestly, like we're having like a lot of gears and gadgets for the players to play with, and stop the other guys from running, or you can eject yourself so you can run faster.
Okay.
There's
I mean,
all kinds of stuff, right?
We could see, obviously, in the trailer, there's an awful lot of chat that's going on, which means, there's a lot of tactics happening on the
Yes.
fly, right?
Yes, it's a lot of tactics. It is a little bit to learn, but not too much.
Okay.
Once you play a game or two, you kind of learn the basics of it. And also, if you think like you're in a bad spot, you also have the option to leave. Now, certain things you have done have earned you certain things.
Yeah.
So you can upgrade your characters later, right?
Yeah, these
So we have something
swarm
called-
corpses are pretty crazy.
Like our main game is high tension gameplay. We want to maximize this experience to be the most high tense gameplay experience you can have.
Got it.
Right.
So what made you guys decide to go for the Xbox game preview?
So,
Well, it's kind of simple. Like in our game, we started very raw. We started very skeleton-like. And I mean,
that is something that I like about it, though. You just die so quickly that you really, and the area that you have is so big, and you don't know where the monster is, that you need to move slowly. You need to be checking all around you. You don't know what's going to be behind you, to the side, and you have to talk with your friends. It is extremely tense.
For example, like if something is a bit diffuse, then we ask them what they think, and then we try to make it better. Okay. And that's honestly the most rewarding thing, is to work with them.
Okay, so you guys know what to do, right? Give feedback
Cyberpunk B-roll in the back.
So we use
Send to Tomb Raider.
that is given through our platform. On the other hand, we use data of the players, right, to balance the game, to see what they like, how they engage with the game, and actually the feedback and the data helps us to validate the current scope of the game, but also to decide on what we will build in the future, right? That's the community involvement, and Xbox Game Preview is giving us that, giving us data as well as feedback from the users. And we're excited actually to see how Xbox gamers are going to feel about our game and how their take is on it.
I'm excited. Now that I've seen that, I'm very, very excited. But
I can't stress the stick in the ground for our game is not just shooting monsters, right?
Yeah.
The stick in the ground is high tension, so we have a high risk, high reward aspect. So when you're walking in our world, the entire world is made to look mysterious. Is that a player? Is that a monster? If I shoot it, other people might hear it. Is somebody shooting at me? I can't see really. And also high tension comes from whatever I bring in. Whatever I bring in will help me. If you kill me, I'll lose it all and I'm gone.
Permadeath, I can't wait for it. It looks absolutely amazing. Well, thank you so much to Fatih and Magnus from Crytek. And now Larry's lurking around the PUBG section of the booth. No doubt probably looking to steal a chicken dinner behind closed doors. Watch yourself down there. I think the blue zone is closing in.
Imagine if he dropped into the building.
You're talking about PUBG. I went to South Korea to meet with the development team behind PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds and walked away with brand new details on the upcoming 1.0 full product release for PUBG. And now it's time to share those exclusive details with you. Take a look.
Full-on dev diary of this thing.
Hi, it's Larry here of Xbox Live's Major Nelson. For the past 8 months, the Xbox Game Preview program has embraced a game near and dear to my heart. But let's be honest, there's been some unpredictability. Some ups and some downs. We've celebrated incredible victories, and we've had some brutal defeats. We've also had some incredible spontaneous moments that bring this game to life. I am, of course, talking about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
For a second, I thought he was talking about the life of the game itself.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
All facets of PUBG, poring over community feedback, testing new builds, creating brand new content. And before I interrupt that flow, I thought I'd take a minute to poke around the studio and maybe enjoy a cappuccino, make off with a little swag, including a custom level 3 helmet. Now, only available in supply crates, mind you, and you had to know the slogan for the cafeteria was going to be on point. And how about that? Perfect for a little jet lag recovery. But I didn't
not
come
sure
all this way
about
to
that.
PUBG Corporation in Seoul, South Korea, just to poke around the studio. I wanted to know about the journey. From a little-known Battle Royale experiment a year and a half ago to global phenomenon, and then on to Xbox Game Preview, and just around the corner, 1.0 for Xbox One. It's been an incredible journey for the team and for the fans. And where better to start than the very beginning? Mark?
I was nerve-wracking, like really. I mean, I was always hesitant about going into early access just because it leads to questions, and there's been some games that haven't really done well. So when we had our beta beforehand, we really wanted to lock down the quality of the build, so at least the build we were releasing was pretty good. And that final week of the beta, I was watching some streamers play, and they were having a good time. There was no major bugs, it all seemed to be pretty stable. So at that stage, I got a little bit excited. I was like, okay, this looks like we could have a good launch, and we did.
저희가 기대했던 거에 몇 배가 되게 되니까 이 서버가 버티지를 못하는 거예요.
처음 오픈할 때 두려움, 뭐 기대, 뭐 이런 섞여 있는 감정이었던 것 같아요.
I'm like almost speechless just even thinking about that moment.
After its incredible success on PC, the team announced plans for PUBG on Xbox One at E3 2017. Readying the game for a platform the team had never worked on before was audacious and a massive challenge.
일단은 엑스박스로 가져오는 것에 대한 결정 자체도
Haven't really learned anything
Bringing
yet.
a massive open world with 100-player PvP to Xbox is not something that's really been done before, so that alone was a challenge.
10프레임 정도밖에 나오진 않았었어요. 그러다가 그런데다가 그 상황에서 사람들이 옷을 갈아입든지 특정 행동들을 갖다 하면은 그냥 계속 게임이 죽어가지고.
When we've tried to have the game that runs on PC into Xbox, it was pretty difficult having it run smoothly.
그러니까 출시를 하느냐 마느냐가 되게 어려웠어요. 왜냐하면 이게 계속 불안정한 부분도 있고 포팅했는데 그 엑스박스 포팅 버전이 불안정한 부분도 해서.
In order to enable their development schedule, we applied advanced technical group resources from within Xbox to help with things like user research and usability, as well as optimizing art code and providing some controller feedback to enable the transition from mouse and keyboard, which is very complicated, over to controller. You know, the upside is that we're currently, north of 18 patches. The downside is that we're currently north of 18 patches, but we've seen great improvement overall. You know, everything from performance to analog controls to the addition of Miramar. It's been a very special ride. Like, you can look back every couple of weeks and see a meaningful improvement that's occurred in the game. And that's impactful when you see that in just short, in a relatively short amount of time, the drastic improvement that this game has made.
After launch on the game preview, PUBG on Xbox One was in the hands of two equally passionate teams, the developers and the fans.
I've always wanted to work for a team that builds a product by listening to their customer base, and it is what we have done from day one.
I try to have every wording of the community literally, like even if it's swearing words, I just send it straight away.
네, 어떤 피드백이나 뭐 그것이 사랑이 됐던 질책이 됐던 거는 굉장히 가깝게 경험한 어떤 그런 개발자로서의 어떤 경험?
디테일한 걸 듣기를 원하시고 또 그를 통해서 좀 이해하고 싶어 하시는 것 같아요. 왜 안 되는지. 좋은 피드백, 나쁜 피드백, 중립적인 피드백, 뭐 되게 좋은 의견들 이런 걸 수집해서 리포트를 수집해서 보거든요.
So we know if we're on the right path, and it has accelerated our development.
긍정적인 영향을 끼치죠. 예. 유저 피드백을 확인하고 그들의 의견을 듣는 것 자체는 거의 온라인 게임에서 필수적인 요소 같아요. 예.
Like, why wouldn't you want to build something that your customers want to see? It's so rewarding when you see players go, oh, I provided that feedback, I wanted to see that feature in PUBG, and now they worked to implement that in the game. That's really cool.
And we've got a great roadmap that continues to deliver against our promise of a 1.0 experience.
Rapidly iterating PUBG and Xbox game preview with the fans is all leading to its 1.0 full product release on September 4th. Of course, the launch for 1.0 is just another different beginning.
You know, it doesn't mean development stops. You know, it means that we we considered the game more or less feature complete.
저희 게임 자체가 배틀그라운드라는 게임 자체가 온라인 게임이기 때문에 뭐 이걸로 끝나는 건 아니고 계속적으로 업그레이드가 되어 갈 텐데 하여튼 요 단계를 거치면서 어쨌든 그래도 기본은 됐다.
PC의 콘텐츠들이 가능한 가장 빠른 시간 내에 엑스박스 유저분들도 즐길 수 있도록 저희가 노력을 많이 하겠습니다.
We're really looking forward to things like custom matches and Sandhawk, all creating this, larger PUBG experience that we feel really delivers against the promise that was made in December.
In addition to a significantly improved overall experience for 1.0, new and existing players can look forward to playing the Sandhawk map, the ability to configure custom matches including War Mode, and of course, achievements, which will carry over from the Xbox game preview period.
It's gonna feel like a different game if you wanna compare it to December and 1.0.
The dedication of the PUBG team is on display everywhere in the studio. But sometimes you need to just play. You have to remind yourself of what you're working so hard for. That's why every Friday, the team takes part in what they term simply Play Day. Whether they're testing a new map, set of features, or brand new content on Xbox, PC, or mobile,
I'm glad
feel
they're
the team shake
not
off the
afraid to
stresses
show
of
bugs.
development and settle in for some good, old-fashioned winner-winner chicken dinner
I think
competition.
you'd have to.
Whether it's the art team, console team, testers, or human resources, the battle royale begins. Soon, defeated teammates are gathering around their favorite dev, rooting them on. Screams, laughter, joy, and catastrophe.
I mean, think about being in a place where like the full match, everybody is in like the same workspace. Like everyone that you're shooting at.
It's been a tremendous pleasure to see
that would
the
be pretty
team.
cool.
Personal
And see the
office
passion
vendettas
for
come
the
into
game
it. Where it's
Yeah.
like, I don't care if I
dedication
win,
to
I
its
just want to kill that
community
guy.
on full display. For the last 6 months, PUBG has been my go-to respite after a long day. I've played it more than any other game. It's about the moments, indelible memories that you brag or commiserate about with your friends. Sometimes it's the thrill of securing a hard-fought supply crate or ambushing some poor soul who thinks they found safety from a rival squad. It could be the raw tension and dread that spring from something as mundane as footsteps crunching the gravel outside. Or
whistle
a
track.
door opening in a building I was sure I cleared.
It's cracking me up right now.
Or maybe it's the hilarity of a motorcycle biting it in a burst of high-speed overconfidence.
This is extremely long.
It is.
Very long.
More rarely in my case than I'd like to
I just want
admit,
to put that
it
out
is
there.
the sheer joyous adrenaline of victory, earned in the crucible of the final blue zone against a desperate enemy eager for their own taste of chicken dinner. Few things in gaming taste sweeter. The allure of PUBG is in its unpredictability. Every drop is a fresh new adventure. And so, whether falling gently with my parachute or falling gently into a quick nap with the hardworking team at PUBG, I'm confident I'm in great hands. And I can only dream of one thing.
It'd be really funny if he put that on and he was seeing Fortnite. I can only dream of one thing.
Brilliant
So
insight
yeah, that
into
was
player
just
unknown battlegrounds.
that was
and
just
the
a little
upcoming 1.0
documentary. It
release
didn't
on
really
September the 4th. Now,
give any kind of news.
It didn't really make 1.0 feel all that special.
Right.
It was just, here's PUBG,
custom games,
which isn't exactly unknown at this point.
deathmatch approach to Battle Royale, where the match will take place in a static zone and it'll include respawns. And that is not all the PUBG goodness we have. Oh no, I am here with Bree White to talk about some brand new Xbox controllers, starting with this drop-dead gorgeous special edition PUBG controller. How you doing, Bree?
Great.
Welcome to Gamescom. This is nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah. Now, Bree and I work on Xbox controllers all the time at Xbox HQ, don't we? But it's the first time we've been on a show together. Well, this is fun, and thank you for bringing this. Tell us about this amazing controller.
So this is the Xbox Wireless Controller, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, limited edition. It's available for pre-order today and will be shipping worldwide in October.
Fantastic. So look at this, exclusive for Inside Xbox, the first time in the world anyone's seeing this. And the best thing is you can pre-order it right now. But
The best thing.
All the details on here, Bree, because this is a beautiful controller.
Okay. In the back, you'll see a digital camo. On the left thumbstick, you've got a blue circle.
Right, so that's like the blue zone closing in on your thumb.
Exactly.
Nice.
And then on the right thumbstick, you've got a
It
sight
just keeps
scope.
getting tighter and tighter.
On the back, there's the PUBG logo. And then here on the right trigger, is an X, which is iconic of where the concept of Battle Royale started.
Okay, so that's like you Xing out all your competitors in a Battle Royale match, right?
Right.
Good.
And then for the first time ever, we've put grips on our triggers.
Nice, yeah, these are really cool. So this is the first time we've had these on Xbox controller before. Trigger grips on the top of the right trigger and left trigger. So when your fingers are getting sweaty, when you're getting right down to that chicken dinner, you get a little bit of extra grip.
Can we get a chicken dinner
it's
count?
Really cool. And I love the silver effect on the D-pad here. It's got kind of a bit of a rugged approach there, right? Looks great. Thank you, Brie. That's awesome. Now, I hear you've been cooking up something else in Xbox Design Lab, yeah?
That's right.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
I actually really like that first blue that they showed off. That's Shadow. Not enough to buy it.
Yeah,
but
so is that... Is there like an... Okay, yeah, metallic finish. That's what I was wondering. Because it looked like there was more than just a gradient going on. Oh, and you can add that grippy stuff too, huh?
Getting a Tesla. I'm gonna make every possible combination.
I'm gonna guess some of that stuff's gonna cost you a little bit more.
All right, and I had my chance to design a couple of my own controllers with the new Xbox Design Lab options. You can see them here. This is my fall 2018 capsule collection. This one matches my jacket very nicely. I think you'll agree. How about that? What do you think, Brie? What do you think of my designs?
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Talk us through the new options.
So 2 years ago, we launched Xbox Design Lab, a product where you can customize your very own Xbox wireless controller. Last year, we brought you metallic finishes, rubberized grips in a few new colors, as well as shipping to over 20 European countries. This year, I'm excited to share that we have 5 new camouflage options and 5 new shadow options.
All right, yeah, and we can have a closer look at
Gradient
them here as well.
is called
so this is
shadow.
the new desert
Okay.
camo option, right? First time we've had desert camo on an Xbox controller.
Exactly.
There you go. So I put some metallic D-pad, red metallic triggers.
I do
on
think
there.
that
I've got
shadow
the
looks
rubberized
really
grips
nice.
on the back
Yeah.
here, if you can see that, because I love my rubberized grips. Yeah, and it looks awesome. Of course, I've got my engraving on here as well.
Yeah, your
Got to
gamer
have the
tag.
engraving. Yeah, AC Bong's on there, so no one else can use it.
I can't see myself
And
spending the
here's
money to get
shadow.
another
So why
one.
did we bring shadow options to Xbox?
Can you get
Design Lab?
anything engraved on
We
there?
found fans really love the matte black
I'm sure that
fades to a
there's
bright
like
metallic, and so we
curse
added
words and
these
stuff
5
you probably
colors so
can't
that
put
people
on there.
customize
Can you put
the rest of their
Sony on
controller
there?
however they want.
I'm sure you
Absolutely.
can.
I've kept
Okay.
mine pretty
All right.
subtle, kind of kept the same color scheme. Got the nice blue metallic trigger buttons. But of course, with Xbox Design Lab, you can do whatever you want. You can go as wild as you want, and I'm sure we'll see some amazing designs. Hi, Brie. Thank you very much, and thank you for the kind words about my designs.
Yeah, one more thing. If you want to order one or design one today, you can go to xbox.com/Xbox Design Lab.
And don't we have a time-limited exclusive as well with the Shadow
Oh.
series?
Yes, there's a Silver Shadow controller just like this that is available just now through September 30th.
All right, okay.
That's
so check
the
that out on
Sonic the
Xbox
Hedgehog.
Design Lab. Those
Silver
exclusive
Shadow.
Yep, that's
camo
you can get
options.
silver and
Yes.
shadow, one on each side of your
Something
controller
completely
today.
different. Benny's going to take us on a journey back in time.
Okay.
Thanks, Graham. We're not actually time traveling, but the new info we're set to debut will make you feel like you're back in some mid-century action. DayZ, the developer of Battlefield 5, has promised that after the game releases on October 19th, the journey will keep evolving in a post-launch experience called Tides of War. This is our first chance to see what that means and how it ties into your personalized, customized journey, which is all tied together by your company. Now, I would just keep rambling on about this, and I'd love to, but I think this will explain it much better than I can. Take a look.
Okay.
In Battlefield 5, you have more ways than ever to turn the battlefield to your advantage. It all starts with your company, your personalized unit of soldiers, weapons, and vehicles. More than ever, playing as a squad is key to success in Battlefield 5. So make sure to collect all the tools and gear you need to win the battle. We are bringing more depth to our known classes with the introduction of combat roles. The recon can specialize in long-range shooting, spotting, or stealth. The assaults become versatile in how they engage the enemy. The medics have more ways to keep their squad alive. And the support can now provide backup with new attrition and fortification systems. For the first time in Battlefield, each combat role has a unique loadout and unique abilities, and over time, you will get access to more combat roles. Define how your weapon feels and performs on the battlefield. As you play and progress, you'll unlock tactical choices that affect how your weapons and vehicles look and perform. Complete daily orders or take on special assignments to equip your company with new gear, weapons, and vehicles. As your company progresses, you will earn new items to visually personalize your company. You can customize your soldiers from top to bottom. Weapons can be personalized too. Now you get to decide how they look and play. Your company's look is up to you. Highlight your gameplay achievements from your journey through World War II, or be completely creative by designing a unique look. With Tides of War, you'll embark through humanity's greatest conflict, giving more gear to grow your company. Whether it's how you choose to look or how you choose to play, Battlefield 5, you'll never be the same.
The sheer breadth of customization in Battlefield 5 is staggering. But we're not quite done with the reveals, and what better way to celebrate Battlefield 5 than with not one, not two, but 3 different bundles. First, we have the Xbox One S and Xbox One X, 1 terabyte Battlefield 5
the
bundles,
best way
which will
to
include a code for
Battlefield 5.
Battlefield 5 Deluxe Edition, a 1-month trial of Xbox Game Pass, and 14-day Xbox Live Gold trial. And finally, feast your eyes on this. The Xbox One X 1 terabyte Gold Rush Special Edition Battlefield 5 bundle. As you can see, it features a unique dark grey gold design.
Battlefield 1943 thrown in there, interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Bullet casings and artillery shells, with the grey representing the weapons in
Backup.
Battlefield 5. It will also include a matching grey controller, which looks awesome, and then we'll include a code for the Battlefield 5 Deluxe Edition, plus a code for Battlefield 1943 as a bonus.
It is kind of funny to me. It's like, what do we do to make a Battlefield console? Let's make it a slightly lighter shade of gray. I couldn't tell the difference between that and the regular Xbox One X.
I didn't even realize there was a difference between that and the regular Xbox One X.
19th for the Battlefield 5 Standard Edition. Now over to Jeff and Ricari, who will do their best to survive the State of Decay 2 interview.
That's great, War. Compared to the PUBG segment, though, that was short.
That's
right.
There is a new major add-on for State of Decay 2, the Daybreak Pack, and let me tell you when it arrives, September 12th. And now, Ricari and I, nice shirt. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's really...
we should have coordinated, but I think it ended up all right.
No, you have great taste. And
worried that guy's gonna get
Wonder
karate
Russell
chopped.
from Undead Labs, thanks so much for joining us to talk about this big State of Decay 2 news.
Sure is.
Well, first of all, the big news is this is her second show.
Yeah.
Wonder is now a 2-time guest, and you've done Redmond and International. So hey, high five
I'm
for
very
that.
excited.
We get a blazer after 3 shows.
Can't wait for my pin.
All right, well, why don't you tell us about the Daybreak Pack?
Yeah, Daybreak Pack, entirely new mode for State of Decay 2. It's very exciting. There's also a ton of unlockables for your community. You play as a really well-equipped elite Red Talon soldier. So you drop in, and your whole goal is to defend a Red Talon tech through waves of zombies that get increasingly harder.
So we're seeing this now. This is brand new footage from Gamescom. There's a demo that folks are playing right now behind us. And what you can see is like there's quite a bit different.
I mean, I can see character models rotating.
Yes, it's a new map. You don't use your own community, so you're not going to lose any precious survivors.
Wait.
Oh,
I
yes.
have to ask, since my likeness appears in the game. You said a red talon soldier.
This is bizarre.
Not your own community?
Not your
Just
own
the
community.
presentation.
I know.
All right.
Maybe if you keep leveling up those fighting skills.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
But
There's a demo behind us, but we're going to show you
Yes.
stills.
Daybreak works, so you spawn in
There
as a
it
red
is.
talon soldier. So there is permadeath, but if you die, you'll respawn as a new soldier in about 13 seconds.
And they don't look like you, so you don't have to worry about it.
Great. Yeah, I can
Super
lose
helpful.
those characters.
Yes. You have the best gear, and you are defending a fortified position. It's kind of like siege defense mode, protecting the technician who's working on an uplink to the Clio satellite system. So Clio is something we introduced in Year 1 Survival Edition. So she controls a drone and satellite network. She's helping you with the fight. She's calling in airstrikes and leaving drops for you in the field.
Now, you mentioned gear. Is it safe for me to assume that there are new weapons and equipment?
Absolutely. All new weapons, great gear, including unlockables for your community, 9 new ranged weapons, 6 new melee weapons, 6 new consumables, different kinds of explosives, mines you can trigger, really going to help you out.
This
There's
whole
so much
thing
stuff.
is
I gotta ask, do you have a
weird to me.
favorite?
Do I have a favorite? There is an axe that I love, and it takes a lot of stamina, but you just swing that and you feel like a badass. It's awesome.
Lady
So
Huber
seeing
over
some
here.
of this B-roll, some of this footage here, which we just saw, we saw what looked like a new freak.
That's right. So this is something that the fans have been speculating might exist, and we're really excited to bring it to Daybreak, the Blood Plague Juggernaut.
All right, so the Juggernaut already like the cause of probably worldwide
Mayhem,
millions
many
of
deaths.
ripped apart.
No,
Yes.
I run. I hear that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm out of there.
So
He's even tougher than the regular Juggernaut, and he's infected with Blood Plague. So you absolutely can die, even though the whole experience, if you were to survive all 7 waves, they get increasingly harder and longer. But if you were to survive, it's maybe about a 45-minute experience. You can die of Blood Plague in that time. Easy.
So let's talk about the connection between Daybreak and your community. So
Right.
there's some really great rewards for playing Daybreak.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the more waves you survive, the longer you play, the more prestige you earn, which is going to be the in-game currency for unlocking those in your base game.
Uh-oh,
So
same
you
B-roll.
can call in Red Talon bunks and barracks, Red Talon watchtower that gives you more passive defense than a regular watchtower, crafting station. You can even recruit one of the Red Talon elite soldiers to come into your community. They have their own set of skills that are just maxed out. They can even become a leader and not just a warlord, which I think is really cool.
I'm excited. I'm ready to go. That's
Yeah.
September 12th, yeah?
Yeah, it is, and
Yeah.
just think you're excited that you can play and not worry about,
But not worry about if
using
I'm
someone who
losing
looks
my
like you.
Yeah, and up to, and it's co-op as well.
The thing for me though is worrying about your community is the whole point of the game.
Right.
Single player, and you'll have 2 NPCs to go with you, which really helps.
And it's cool that you can
does
earn
relate it,
stuff
and
that
it's
will
a lot
affect your
of fun, and it's
community,
really
but
to be
it
able to
is
spend
kind of
those
nice
points
that
on some
anything that you
community
earn
gear in my
in
main game.
State of Decay, you're putting yourself and your community at risk, and so to have that be so disconnected feels a little strange to
Graham's
me.
going to give us the scoop on Sea of Thieves. So sharpen your blade and shiver me.
Hey. Yo, what? Stop. Why do you got to do that?
Why are you going to tell me how I can Sea of Thieves?
I just, they hate that. I hate that, so why do that?
Because it sounds like Graham, and I
You
want
know
to be
what?
like
Live your
Graham.
life. No, live your life.
All right, well, whatever. Take it away, Graham.
Sea of Thieves.
I think you're quite right, Jeff. Don't let Ricari tell you what to do. Hey everyone, I'm here with Joe Neat, executive producer at Rare. Joe, how are you, mate?
I'm very, very well indeed. Yes.
Welcome back to Gamescom.
It's one of my favourite
Chad.
shows. All the fans meeting.
How much
people,
of that
it's
line is for that
amazing.
Devil
The
May
energy's
Cry
incredible
5?
on this scale, right? It's so huge.
Do you know what? It's funny you say that. It's been nice just hanging out with you for the last 15 minutes because so many Sea of Thieves fans have just come up to you and wanted to talk about the game. It's awesome.
It's great, isn't it? Asking when we're putting fishing in. Yeah, like that seems to be the common question. But
So
yeah.
what's the answer?
Like we hear the feedback. We hear the feedback.
All right, good. So Cursed Sales has been out for about 3-4 weeks now.
3 weeks, yeah.
How's the community been responding to that?
Really great. Like introducing skeleton ships into the world like we did with this kind of cool campaign with the different battles each week and this like side quest you can do as well, like about the kind of background of how these came into the world.
Right.
We love introducing new content in that way to Sea of Thieves, and so it's been great to kind of see how players have been getting on with this, the creative use of mechanics with the skeleton ships and
Yeah.
stuff. So yeah, loads of great feedback and also stuff that we've learned, right? Like people going you know, we put a lot of different commendations and things you could achieve, like reasons to replay into the game. Yeah. And we set them at different times and different weeks, and for some of our players that was a little bit too much. And so it's like, okay, like for the next Forsaken Shores campaign, we kind of dialing that back so that it's a bit more relaxed, a bit more chill. You've got more time and opportunity to go and do it and kind of take part in that campaign. So yeah, we're always learning.
So when you go from like you know, Curse of Sails to Forsaken Shores to whatever you've got lined up in the future, what are you learning about player behavior in each of those updates? Like with Curse of Sails, right, you've got alliances, you've got the skelly ships. What kind of behavior have you seen that
the alliances stuff has been amazing to see how that has influenced player behavior and just changed like the interaction with people out in the seas, because I play Sea of Thieves as a fan, right? Like, you know, I've got the best job in the world. Like, I get paid to be a fan of the game I work on. It's awesome. But so I was playing at the weekend, and whenever I go in now, I always put the alliance flag on. So like anybody that sees me sees that shape of the flag, and like so I'm hoping that they're going to not be aggressive towards me. And a lot of the time, you know, you'll see someone will join your alliance or they'll shout to you over the speaking trumpet. So it's really great to be able to signal your intent from distance and just those human interactions and behaviours. It's so unique to what our game is, I think.
All right, so Forsaken Shores is literally on the horizon.
Yes.
What have you got coming up for us soon?
Yeah, so Forsaken Shores, loads of stuff, right? So, like I think hopefully we've got some footage that we're going to be showing off around the world, right? And so it's a volcanic world, and it's much more perilous than any other part of the world that we've put in. So you're still going to start in the parts of the world you currently start in, and you have to make a choice to venture to the Devil's Roar, which is the name of this area, right? And the volcanoes, like, sometimes they're going to be kind of dormant, they're not going to be going off, and so, but then you might get a little bit of tremors, a little bit of earthquake that gives you a signal that maybe something's not right on the island, and might lead you to now want to kind of maybe hide in a cave or get off the island and back to your boat and wait and see. It depends kind of what circumstances you're in, what stuff, like how much loot you've got and everything. But then if it does kick off, you've got like geysers which will fly you up into the air. If you're like running across the island, you can get pinged up into the air. You've got rocks raining down. The water gets superheated around the islands too, so it becomes like if you swim through it, you're gonna get cooked alive, right? And so that's why the rowboat is coming in alongside Forsaken Shores, which is you're going to find these in the world emergently, and you can then take it back to your boat and like dock it to your boat and take it with you. But like when that water's superheated, you can use the rowboat to kind of get through it, and you can fill it up with loot. And one of my favourite images actually from there was a video someone put together speculating about what they could do with this, and they just filled it with snakes and explosive barrels like the rowboat, and like you can just imagine just push that off sailing to another ship and like good luck. But
I actually think this is like the best and most informative thing so far.
So one other thing that's really cool that we're bringing in with
it's very clear like what's new here.
Exactly.
What's a lot of the other things is like wait, was that new? It's like no, I think I've heard that before.
Here's what's new. Here's why it's exciting. Here's what you can do with it. It's informed. It's clear. It's quick.
To this place in the world. And so there's like bottles of rum which are a bit delicate, so if you're jumping around them they're going to get damaged, lower in value, so you've got to keep them kind of safe.
Protect
so don't get into a battle, right? You know, it's very important thing. Like cloth, expensive cloth, which you can't really get wet. If you get it wet, it reduces in value. So again, don't leave it on the top of the boat in a storm, but don't put it on the bottom, because if the water starts filling up. And then plants as well. So if you're taking plants across the world, you want to keep them wet so that they stay kind of healthy. So maybe you want to fill up the bottom deck of your boat and then just put the plants down there, like by taking some damage and then repairing it and not bailing.
That wouldn't
so
be
it's
good
going to be really interesting to do that, because I could come onto your boat, see your stuff, and I could do what I wanted. Like, you know, I could start pouring water on your cloth for a laugh, or I could steal it and take it because I'll be able to know where I need to take that. So it's like really cool for us to be introducing new ways to play, especially for the merchants. Because, you know, our data and feedback tells us that that's the one people kind of wanted something new to kind of go and play with and stuff.
Absolutely. So, have you got new build rat adventures?
We do indeed, yes. So that's coming after Curse Sails, and that will be Curse Cruise. So that's where we introduce cursed cannonballs to the world. So they're going to be found emergently. You know, we've upgraded our inventory system to allow you to manage different cannonballs and stuff. So finding one of those and using them on other players, you're going to see so much fun. Like the rudder ball, which locks your steering so you can't steer for a while. I'm going to use that when someone is sailing towards a giant rock or an island and just watch the chaos ensue. Right? But,
that's a cool idea.
So we're bringing those in, and all the accommodations will be around it. But because a lot of them are going to be around combat and using cursed cannonballs, we're also bringing in the Reaper's Mark, which is a flag you can fly.
Okay.
And it will then put your ship on the map for everyone else in your world to see.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, bring it. Right,
Come on,
that's what
come on, have a go. If you think you're hard enough.
Or it could be like the person that does our like loot and lore game show. Like it's a member of our community that does this game show all the time. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like maybe he'll use it to put himself on the map so that people will see him and come to him, and he'll be like, no, I'm friendly. I'm doing a game show.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's like.
Joe, you've got an
super
amazing
exciting.
Sea of Thieves community as well. You just mentioned there. I know there's someone in your community that you want to give a shout out to on
Yes,
the show, right?
absolutely. So got this tweet a couple of days ago. So Liam, who is 7 years old, has become Pirate Legend recently. And for us to be able to create a game like this, a multiplayer game like Sea of Thieves, and it's a long kind of way to get to Pirate Legend. He has played the game for a lot, and so to have a 7-year-old playing an online game like this and have played it for so long and to become a legend in our game, like kudos to Liam.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we should
He also
both give him
dropped
a
out of
salute.
school.
Indeed.
Here's to you, Liam.
Boom.
Well played. All right, Joe, thank you so much. Tell us when Forsaken Shores will be hitting the seas.
Yes, so it will be hitting the seas on September the 19th, which
Okay.
coincidentally is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. So it all just converges.
Coincidentally.
So-
Coincidentally.
Yeah, and
Jeff's going to be
And
delighted.
coincidentally, he happens to know that.
All right, Joe, thank you very
No
much for your
worries, man.
time,
Thank
as
you.
always, mate. And don't forget, you can play Sea of Thieves right now with Xbox Game Pass. Let me try and get my words out. I think I've been on that wrong. Right, it's going to be too waiting for
Again,
Forsaken
don't
Shores.
buy
It
the
looks
game.
absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant.
Get Xbox
Thanks, Joe.
Game Pass
And
to
another
play
game
it.
I'm absolutely buzzing for
Interesting.
is Fallout 76. And Larry has
There
been
we
from
go.
Bethesda on hand to talk about it. But before that, check out this world premiere Fallout 76 trailer for the very first time on our show, right here, right now. Let's go.
This is the first game to be discussed that it isn't out yet.
So far, not new. Okay, there we go.
You will emerge.
Gears of War crossover.
Today's episode, a new American dream. What separates man from beast? No, it's not his ability to tap dance. It is his desire to build. After thermonuclear war, man's towering industrial marvels may no longer stretch to the heavens. It then falls on you and the ingenuity of your fellows to rebuild the America we hold dear. Get started with CAMPS, the construction and assembly mobile platform. It's the workbench of tomorrow. Once established, your camp will not only provide you with much-needed shelter, but also the means to satisfy your hunger, quench your thirst,
This is literally what they
treat
showed at E3. Yeah, I
infection.
thought this looked
The
familiar.
essential pillars of survival. Expand your camp by scavenging resources or mining raw materials the old-fashioned way. Then construct your
This is the
home
exact same
of the
trailer as E3?
future.
I don't know about that, but it's like some of the same info.
Right. Yeah, the info is not new.
If your first home site is undesirable, use your handy camp to move it to a better location. With your home secure, you can now craft handmade ordnance at your leisure to give your altercations that personal touch. Or better yet, sell these homemade implements to your neighbors for profit.
Yeah, so same kind of problem as before. It's like there's new info kind of mixed in.
Remember, capitalism
Stuff we already knew.
is the only thing keeping us from being communists. The world may have ended, but keeping up with the Joneses has not.
At least it's animated.
Use those
Right.
hard-earned profits to upgrade your dwelling.
Is
When
that a
your
water
home
slide? What
looks
is that?
important, you are important. Now you've learned how to forge the new American dream. You are completely prepared to rebuild the greatest nation in the world. As a hand-picked resident of Vault 76, it is your duty to carefully review your Vault-Tec-provided films yearly to fully prepare for the day when you will emerge.
Pre-order for beta.
All right, now I'm joined by Pete Hines, this guy, Pete, great to see you, man.
Great to see you. Happy Gamescom.
It is a great Gamescom. We are here. You guys are in a booth
casual.
right behind us. I don't know if you can see it.
How many Vault Boys can we get in one shot?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even. There's one over there too. I don't even. Pete comes with a bunch of Vault Boys. Now, Pete, I want you to tell us about the new camp system.
Well, folks are going to be familiar with building settlements in Fallout 4. Hey, dude, how's it going? Good to see you. Looking good. Folks are familiar with settlement building in Fallout 4. The camp takes the idea and expands it. So the idea of the camp is it's a way to build settlements. You have much more freedom in terms of where you can put it. But it's movable.
Right.
So anytime you set one down, if you pick a different spot and like, you know what, I want to move my camp here, it'll cost you some camps to do it, caps, but you can take your camp and relocate it anywhere you want. Now, this is entirely optional, so you can make the game about
We knew
building
that, though.
We can see some of the things here, right?
Right, and a lot of this will look familiar, like I can build structures, I can build furniture, there's a lot more stuff you can do now. I can build defenses, so I can put down turrets or mortars.
Right.
But the idea is now it moves as opposed to being in one spot. But it's still optional. If you want to spend the game roaming around and exploring locations, you can. But you can also decide, I want to build my own workshops. I want to have a place where I can build at my camp as opposed to finding ones out in the world.
So it takes a lot of what we've known from some of the work you guys did with Fallout 4 and really, no pun intended, builds on it.
Yeah, well, and again, this time around, because the game is online and every character is another player, you can do that building with other folks. So it's not just you building in your settlement. You can have other folks building around you. There's some even larger settlements where you can build cooperatively. So it is a theme of the game. You know, the whole idea of Vault 76 was the folks that were going to rebuild the world. But you do as much or as little of that as you want, just like you can play by yourself or with others, depending on how you want to play.
What are you guys showing here at Gamescom?
We're showing sort of a mix, a recap of all the stuff that we showed at E3, that we showed at QuakeCon last week as part of Todd's panel. You know, we talked a little bit about the character system and perk cards and how perk cards work in terms of changing your loadout. Basically just making sure folks understand how the game works. Look, at the end of the day, it's still a role-playing game in a massive world. You know, the big difference is you can now play it with other people and have that a shared experience that folks have said for so long, boy, I wish I could play at Bethesda Game Studios, but like with my friends or my family.
Now, you know, there's no shortage of me coming to you with feature requests, and I'll call Todd up as well. I want to play a Deathclaw.
Well, we'll add it to the list. How about a Deathclaw costume? Can we at least start there and move to actual Deathclaw?
Fair. You guys,
we'll get that.
Enough? We'll go into that. Now, I'm really excited because you have a beta coming up, or as they say in Europe, a beta.
A beta.
So what can you tell us about?
It's going to be in October.
Yep.
It's coming to the Xbox One first.
Yep.
And all you have to do to be eligible is pre-order the game. And you're ready to go. If you pre-order it digitally through Microsoft, you literally need to do nothing else. You'll be set up. If you order through any retailer or wherever you like to buy games, they will give you a code and walk you through the process on how to sign up. But that's it. And you'll be the first folks in the world to play Fallout 76.
Now, if you really want to get your Fallout on, you can do it right now with Game Pass.
Right.
Fallout 4 is in Game Pass. So we talked about this earlier in the show. You can get 2 months for $2. I don't know
$2.
I don't even know what that is in euros, but
probably
it's something. Probably two. But you can actually go and download Fallout 4 right now and play it. Right.
$2 for 2 months and Fallout 4.
That'll kind of, I was going to say it will tide you over until Fallout 76, but it'll tide you over well past that.
All that content, user mods, all that good stuff, you can play it forever.
It is unbelievable. Or if you come to Gamescom, make sure you stop by your
Come by and get a picture with this Vault Boy, with the other Vault Boy.
With Pete.
We have so many Vault Boys.
All right, it's always great to see you, Pete. Thanks for chatting with us. Good to see you again.
Good to see
you.
Julia, what's
Remix.
next?
That was disappointing. Not even a morsel.
Oh, wait.
Just ads.
We got another great console.
Than with this new bundle. I mean, I've already got my onesie, so I'm good on that front. It includes an Xbox One X, wireless controller, a copy, of course, of Fallout 76, plus you get 1 month of Xbox Game Pass and 1 month of Xbox Live Gold. The Xbox One X Fallout 76 bundle comes out November 14, and you can begin pre-ordering it right after this show. Now, let's pass things off to Jeff, who's got some very special news for all you PC gamers out there.
That's right, Julia. There's lots of big Xbox news here at Gamescom, but we've got news for you PC gamers too, with our announcement that 5 great games will be available soon on Steam and on PC Disc. First up, Recore Definitive Edition, an action-packed adventure in which charming robotic
companions so these have
tough
only been on Windows Store? Is that what it's
to saving humankind. Super Lucky's Tale is a delightful 3D platformer that follows the adventures of a brave fox named Lucky on his quest to help his sister rescue the mysterious Book of Ages. Disneyland Adventures allows Disney fans of all ages
there we
to
go.
explore Disneyland
Hey, Brandon.
Park,
Keeping you alive back there. Keeping you alive.
That footage?
Yeah, that
the
looks...
3D platforming game
Something
Rush
is
of
wrong with
Disney
that
Pixar
footage.
Adventure, fans can visit the worlds of 6 beloved Disney Pixar films to solve puzzles and uncover hidden secrets.
There we go.
Finally, you can create the zoo of your dreams with Zoo Tycoon Ultimate Animal Collection. My Ultimate Animal Collection Zoo, it'd be probably 3 different types of wombats. They're all in the game, and it's on PC. Now we're gonna send it over to another wombat fan who's
Yeah, none of that was
pretty
exciting.
excited about the debut.
I mean,
of a new
Recore on
mode
Steam.
for Ori and
Sure.
the Will of the Wisp. Take it
I want to
away,
know more
Ori.
about this guy's wombat
Let's be
fascination. What's
real,
going on there?
You are the real Wombat fan. Now, this is super cool if you're an
What
Ori
the-
fan like
who's
I
this
am.
joke?
An all-new mode for Ori and the Will of the Wisps has been revealed here at Gamescom, Spirit Trials. Now, Spirit Trials are courses that are spread throughout the game where players can take time away from the adventure to race by dashing, burrowing, grappling, and leaping alongside other players' ghosts to compete for a top score and in-game rewards. It's something out there for those speedrunners.
They're sticking to that same level we played at E3.
I could actually see myself enjoying that, though, just because of how solid the movement is.
Yeah.
It's a nice
All
addition.
right, now Metro Exodus set the gaming world on fire when it was announced a year ago, and now the team
That
is
was it.
ready to reveal
That was-
even more.
That was it.
Can you say brand new level?
It is a little weird where they have a whole new mode to talk about, and they don't.
Thanks for coming.
Right. And then
Metro
things
Exodus
that they
is a
don't have
super
anything to
intriguing
say, we
game.
spend
We've
a
got
lot of
John
time
Block
on.
here from 4A Games to show us how it's coming along. Welcome, John. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
John, it's great to see you. And welcome to the Xbox booth.
Yeah, thanks.
You're debuting a brand new level in Metro Exodus. Tell us about this new environment.
So this new environment is we're calling it the Taiga, and it takes place in a forest environment, thousands of kilometers away from the Moscow city center, where Artyom's
That guy has a
journey
glorious beard,
began
by the way.
many months before. This takes place in autumn.
Okay.
And the game takes place over the course of a year, and you see all 4 seasons. So this is actually pretty far along in the game already at this point.
Okay. Go ahead, Reddy.
Oh no, I was just thinking because I had to go on the demo earlier.
Yes.
One of the things I absolutely loved about the game is that you have so many different methods of approaching different situations that you're going to come across. I think in the gameplay that we've got, it's a stealthy approach. Can you kind of talk us through what we're going to be seeing right here?
So you can play Metro Exodus many different ways. You can play, full, guns blazing, or you can take a stealth approach. The game tends to encourage that because it does become very difficult when you go all out because it is a survival game. Ammunition is scarce, resources are scarce, but we've added a lot of elements to the AI and stealth functionality of the game to make it a lot more robust this time around. We've worked a lot on communication for AI so that it's a lot easier to understand what they're doing without it
That
being
shotgun
overt,
pistol,
without bringing in HUD elements that are unnecessary, which is something that's kind of a staple of the series. We like to really let you immerse yourself in the game and feel the realism
really
of
adds so
everything
much.
that we're trying to allow you to experience. And so a lot of these things come together. We've tried to really build on that this time around to provide a lot more of a dynamic experience where you can adapt the way that you approach a scenario, and the game adapts to how you're approaching depending on what you're doing, what the AI sees you doing, and you're able to kind of change that on the fly.
Now we've seen some factions here, but it's not just other factions you have to worry about. You've got some vicious animal encounters as well, right?
Yeah. So one of the things that we teased at our announce, last year at E3.
I remember that
was from this level,
right?
And we had the bear that comes out at the end, and he's back. He's in this level.
He's scared.
And, yeah,
the hell out of me.
And he's one of the creatures. He's in this level that the player is going to have to encounter. And there's also, I think, at some point here you'll see some there's some wolves.
There's a wolf.
Yeah. There's some mutated wolves that you'll have to fight off.
A lot of spit on that mask.
there's a bunch of new humans that you'll come across in this level, just like any of the other environments. We have so many new societies for you to encounter.
That's one of the things. How are those human interactions going to go? Because there's going to be multiple factions. Are there going to be factions that you can ally with?
Well, some factions are going to be just pure evil, as you would expect. Bandits are probably just nefarious people that are out for no good. Yeah,
right.
But some might not be.
Even
some might
bandits
be
have to recruit people sometimes, though, right?
How you act upon them as well. So the game kind of adapts to how you play, because we really want you to feel like you are entering the shoes of Artyom, the main character, and assuming that role and deciding what type of person he is.
Right, fantastic. John, it looks amazing. It's like a world I want to go into and live, and sounds like it's going to be a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
All right, you can pre-order Metro Exodus ahead of its release on February 22nd, 2019, and Xbox Game Pass subscribers.
I wanted to know a little bit more about this new area they're showing us for the first time.
When you couldn't eat another bite of gaming goodness, here comes another course. In a few minutes, we're going to unveil the never-before-seen gameplay trailer for Devil May Cry 5.
There we go.
And talk to the team behind the game. But first, Life is Strange 2 has finally graduated from teasing us to a full-on game trailer.
Are we going to see this for the third time?
I have no idea where we are.
I haven't seen this at all, so
I'll let you watch it.
Feels like we're walking nowhere. I don't think Daniel understands what's going on. I can't tell him the truth now. I just can't. How am I supposed to take care of us out here?
What are we gonna do now?
There's nothing we can't do. As long as we're together.
very quick, that release date. Wow. So that's the same trailer that they showed earlier this morning?
Yeah, they showed it this morning, and then they also released it on its own yesterday.
Got it.
Is this the first time?
Oh, here we go.
That the date, right? And the date as well.
Stop talking.
That's awesome.
That's right. March 8, 2019. All right, cool.
March 8th.
What is happening?
I feel like we should be hearing the game.
Yep.
Try not to get us killed on the way there.
I don't even know if that talking was intentional.
Give me the queen. Oh, damn. Just walking around shooting things as they're helpless. That was interesting, whipping him around like that. Ooh. Okay, nice that they're back. Oh, they look so good. Come out of his stomach? Yes. Oh, damn. Mario 64 right here. Let's go!
The building's falling apart, is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Wow, the scale on these battles. So that... Okay, so he looks like he's extending his arm there to get that... yeah, okay.
Good dodge.
Buster. Oh, this song. Yeah! I mean, they showed that at E3, but it's nice to see a little bit more of it.
Perfect timing.
Okay. Please let me use. Yes!
What?
Yes! Oh my god! He said it would be everything we wanted.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's all it needed to be, was that little, like, 10-second thing, and it would have been enough.
So yeah, so
That's so dumb.
They talked over the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah, they did.
And picked
They
up
did.
their mics by accident. Spoiled the reveal of that
there you
date.
go. Devil May Cry 5 confirmed. Wrong in there, but March 8th, 2019.
They switched the dates back and forth in Europe. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's August. It's much sooner than that. It's March.
Yeah, March 8th. Now, here to give us more details on how the game is shaping up is Tsuna-san and Matt from Capcom. How are y'all doing today?
The man himself.
You know what? I got to match your excitement, so I'm doing that great. I am doing that great.
Nice
People
jacket.
are finally getting a chance to play the game here at Gamescom for the first time.
We did yesterday.
We
and
did.
If there's a better demo here at Gamescom, I mean, no disrespect to anything that we've seen before, but I'd be very impressed if there's something better here.
Look, we really appreciate it. We are super excited. It's been amazing all day long. It's been the
jacket,
longest line
dude.
from what I can tell,
Yeah.
and it's just such an honor to have so many people excited about the game. You know.
So let's talk about the game. In playing, immediately it became clear there are entirely new mechanics in Devil May Cry 5, starting with
The Devil Breakers, exactly. That's why I don't have my sleeve here. Exactly. So the Devil Breakers are the new system for Nero that is going to give him a chance to experiment with all kinds of new gameplay. There's going to
Here
be
we
8
go.
different standard
Yes,
Devil
that's
Breakers
real
that players are going to be able to
gameplay.
use, and there's all kinds of different moves that you could do with the Devil Breakers that you couldn't do before. in
Ooh,
Devil
so
May Cry 4.
okay, nice. So you
Yeah,
can
we're seeing
switch
some of that
between your
action here.
breakers
Look at that. There you go. We're
We're
jumping
also
right
seeing
in.
on the
tons of
fly.
boss
That's
here.
very
All right.
nice.
Yeah, well, it turns out
So it's like
this
switching
is
the styles
the
before.
boss fight that everybody playing the Gamescom demo is getting a chance to play. This is the Goliath. Fun fact: the Goliath is based on our buddy Brian, who's the brand
Nice,
manager
just
in
stay
Europe
in the air.
for Devil May Cry. At least that's what I'm telling people. And
Huge.
He's huge, exactly. He's huge, and he's got a big booming voice, just like this guy. So here we go. Already, we're starting with this, right? Itano-san.
Yeah.
Taking a look here. What's going on with the Goliath here? Look at this.
Yeah, I like
Give me that
that it
smoking six
raises
style.
up the ground in those craters and that you actually stand on them.
Yeah.
This is exclusive to
Hit him.
Inside Xbox right here. You see this? He just switched over to the Buster Arm, which is Nico's way of trying to replicate the Devil Bringer. Boom!
He said Nico,
oh,
Grand Theft Auto crossover.
Right.
Do that.
He was doing that to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I got lost around.
Oh,
So,
it came
well,
so
and that's the you guys didn't have the chance to play as that because we don't have that in this build. That's an exclusive just for Inside Xbox to show you guys one of the special Devil Breakers that you can use in the game that we don't have the build today.
That's why we do.
All right, I got it. That's why we do.
That's why you guys.
I've got to admit, I'm a bit new to the franchise, and I dabbled a bit in 4, but Devil May Cry 5 is going to be my first foray into it. I need to know the setup. What do I need to know about this game? Tell me a bit about the story.
Look, Devil May Cry is a game about Dante and Nero, and the
Are they gonna do anything to
descendants of
involve
Sparta,
Itano?
who are taking
Yeah, I hope
on
so.
demons. Okay, so that's kind of the gist of it, anyways. If you want to know how to get into Devil May Cry 5, I would suggest on Xbox Game Pass, you're going to get the chance to play Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. So I'd say check that out, and that'll give you a nice warm-up for what you can play in Devil May Cry 5.
All right, sounds good.
All right, why don't we look at a little bit more gameplay, and Itsuno-san, perhaps you'll tell us what we're seeing here.
Sounds good.
All right, so it's a little bit more of the Goliath here, I think.
Say
from the
whatever you
beginning,
want,
and we just
Itsuno.
saw a cool grapple move.
Don't let him
That's
stop
right,
you.
that's right. そうですね、ワイヤースナッチやりましたね。
ワイヤースナッチだとよく見たら EX アクトもね結構使ってるんで。
そうですよね。So you're right. There is this wire move that he's doing. This is actually an approximation of one of the moves you can do with the Devil Bringer in Devil May Cry 4. You can still do that in here, and whether you have a Devil Breaker or not, you can always do that move. You'll also notice though that there's this gauge in the top left corner that charges up. That's something called you can do something called the EX Act. And that's a move that if you time your button press just right, you're going to rev up your sword right after doing an attack and strengthen your next attack.
I wish we had talked to you before we had played.
Before we play, actually, I'll ask you this right now.
So it's nice that that's
There's
back.
obviously the guns that you carry, and there's your Devil Breaker, right? What do I need to know going in? What's the best way to chain combos, get that best ranking?
The best way to chain combos is to do a whole bunch of different
That
moves. Real
laser
quick here, but
attack,
look at this.
and it
So,
just bounces around.
Nero's
Oh
using
man,
the
that's gonna be so much fun to do
Devil-
combos with.
Devil Breaker. Yeah. And you'll notice that he's got a supercharged move that you can do with that. And what he just did right there is called the pedal ray. That's this move that bounces lasers off the walls. It's actually the most effective in small environments because every time it bounces, you're going to find that it actually gets stronger. So it was really smart of our guy, Yoshida-san, he's the one doing the gameplay here, to use that move in that environment. But to get back to your question, so Nero's got the Red Queen and the Blue Rose that he's had from Devil May Cry 4, so both melee attacks and gun attacks they can use at a distance, as well as these Devil Breakers, which are new to the series.
And there's a bit of a risk reward, I feel like, with the Devil Breakers. Like, if you rely on them too much, you lose that arm, right?
Exactly, you're correct. What's going to happen is there's a couple different ways that they can break. You notice in the bottom right corner here that you actually have a limited number of Devil Breakers at any given time. And so if you take damage while you're using a Devil Breaker, they could break. Or if you do one of their super moves, then that could break it. Or then finally, there's another one called Breakaway, where if you hit the left bumper, you're going to break one completely. But you can do that on purpose. And the reason you would want to do that is, A, if you want to switch over to one of the Devil Breakers in your inventory, or B, if you're in a sticky situation, that acts as an emergency evade.
All right. Well, in our last few seconds, do you have any shout-outs that you want to give?
Man, I do. Actually, I want to give a big shout-out to the dev team in Osaka because they are doing a fantastic job. They're working hard every night. Yoshida-san,
Panic button.
みんなにね、頑張っていただきたいですよね。
そうですね。今最後の調整で頑張ってるんで大阪で。
ね、本当にそうですよね。They're working on their butts off right now on doing the final adjustments to the game right now. Also, just a real quick shout out to the Devil May Cry 5 Resetter Discord. Lots of really nice people in there. But yeah, that's where we go, man. Devil May Cry 5 coming out March 8th, 2019, and we're gonna find out more about the game at TGS.
All right.
I know you guys are probably wondering about Dante.
I'm wondering a lot. There's a lot that I need to get.
Coming up soon. We'll have to
how do I fight with my
tune in to TGS,
my motorcycle, man?
Thank you so much for joining us. We absolutely appreciate it. And for those of you Game Pass subscribers, keep in mind you can play Devil May Cry 4 SE right now.
And there is still a lot more Inside Xbox coming up. But Kari, what's next?
Well, Jeff, I think it's time to spend some time with our favorite new heroine, Sable.
Sable.
Nice.
Show is picking up.
Kind of dungeon areas now, huh? Pretty cool.
More? No. Okay.
It's called Sable, and it's like nothing else. If you're a fan of Studio Ghibli and 1980s European comics, then this game will feel both wonderfully familiar and absolutely unique. So Gregorius is here from Raw Fury to tell us a little bit more about the game. So how you doing, Greg?
It's an intense stare.
Right.
I mean, the art style is incredibly beautiful. Kind of reminds me of sort of early, not the movie Tintin, but the early kind of Tintin cartoons. Was that intentional?
Yeah, we were massively inspired by the clear line style of European comics, specifically Mobius, Tintin, and I mean, those stuff look great in kind of frames, but we had to animate it and bring it to life, so then we kind of looked at more Japanese animation, Studio Ghibli, Akira, and like just all sorts of anime, I guess, just to try and bring that stuff to life and make something so stylized feel like it really has a spirit and a soul.
So I suppose obviously the thing that will draw you into that, of course, is the character. Tell us a little bit about the main protagonist, Sable.
Yeah, Sable is this young girl. She's leaving her clan for the first time, and it's kind of, she's going on a rite of passage.
So it's kind of like a gap year, but like a bit better than just going to Thailand.
Yeah, a bit better than Thailand, or maybe worse. You're kind of in a desert and you're.
I don't know. I feel like you'd learn more about yourself than by not going to Thailand. Anyway, I digress. Carry on.
Well, she has a hover bike, which is pretty cool. I'd like a hover bike to drive around the desert.
Also,
but she's
an orb you can fly.
What was that?
She's basically going out to learn about the world, learn about herself, and kind of discover what's out there. Like, we really want to make everything about the game feel like it has a sense of wonder, a sense of mystery, and something to discover.
Something special that people kind of naturally discover stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's
I feel like
exactly
you've
my kind of game.
customized your
You've got quite an
speeder
eclectic
bike
team
or
working
get
with you
different
on
ones or
Sable. Tell us
something.
a little bit about
That
the
one
guys
looked different than
behind
ones I
it,
saw
and
before.
amazing music as well.
Yeah, so
or
on the
just
music
one
side,
that
we
you
have
hopped
Japanese
on, you
breakfast
saw in the
involved.
world.
She's a fantastic artist, super excited to be working with her. We have Meg Jayanth writing for us. She wrote 80 Days. Martin Faller, he's doing the sound design. And Micah, who's doing our animation. And then Daniel and I, my business partner, we are kind of the core team members, and we work in a shed, so hence the name Shedworks.
Shedworks. I wondered where that was from.
And it's great. It's really nice. Like, it's really personal. We're making something that I think we are like hoping is an expression of this team. We have a lot of like nomads in our team.
I really
so
like the way the colors play off each other.
Michelle, Japanese Breakfast, she's kind of writing the music, and the two of us as she's traveling around the world. Meg is constantly between Bangalore and London, and it's really exciting.
It's kind of like a millennial kind of like Jack Kerouac on the road, and it feels like the team is very much like that, and the game is like that.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, I think, it's really exciting to just make something that is an expression of us, and something that, like I said, is personal, is telling a story that we're making. We're not, we're not procedurally generating a narrative or anything. We're trying to tell everyone about this specific character and what she's about.
Yeah, and obviously it's like, as you play, you're putting yourself into that story and how you play, basically.
Yeah.
I'm sold. I think it's beautiful. Can you tell everyone when it's going to be coming out?
Late 2019, we're saying at the moment.
That's very generic. I was hoping for something a bit more specific, Greg,
sorry.
but all right, fine, I'll deal with that. Anyway, while we're talking about unique experiences, gamers in the US this summer played Halo Fireteam at Fireteam Raven at Dave & Buster's. This is a massive arcade setup that's truly incredible and is coming soon to the UK, Australia, Middle East, Canada and China, but mainly UK. That's great. So here's a look behind the scenes at Halo Fireteam Raven.
I hadn't heard of this before.
Yeah, the shooter, the gun shooter that was in the Dave & Buster's.
Oh, okay.
Halo arcade.
You haven't seen this?
I don't think I have.
Actually, the seed of that conversation is a Halo pinball machine, which we still haven't made. So the idea has always been knocking around in the back of our heads.
Just what would it mean to take Halo out of sort of the console and PC world and bring it, I guess, out into the wild?
I want to say I approached Microsoft about working on a Halo arcade game probably 6 years ago.
The idea has been around for forever, but I think without that move from Raw Thrills, we would never have found what the right vehicle for that was.
I got called up to the front of the office, and I was just asked, would you like to make a Halo game? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to make a Halo game. Who does not want to make a Halo game?
Well, they're going deep into this, huh?
Number one thing that Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics pride ourselves on is that we are arcade game makers. We understand arcade games. Our company creates games from concept through software, hardware, mechanical, and then all the way to manufacture.
An arcade game is a physical, big game that sits in a location. And to do that, it takes lots of people and lots of different types of work and effort to get us to that point. See, normally I'm doing software, which is mainly what I do.
This is what the actual camera is going to look like?
And software starts first, right? So in software, we come up with the imagery of the game.
This is our G7 engine.
The ideas of the game, the tempo and the pace of the game.
I'd really like to give this a try.
Keep elements that the gameplay is going to be.
The others, the impact.
Do you know how long it's been in the US?
There's nothing we can do.
We put
For a
lot of
little bit
effort
now,
into
not too
capturing
terribly long.
all the little details of Halo.
So I am currently creating the effects for the Scarab in our engine. It's all recreated from scratch.
And it takes us a lot of effort to capture, to create it, so that the players, specifically the fans, can appreciate, that we are really trying to give them a true Halo experience.
Captain Keyes.
Good to see you, Master Chief.
Set in the same time frame as Halo Combat Evolved.
I'm initiating Cold Protocol Article 2. We're abandoning the Autumn.
Captain Keyes is placing the Pillar of Autumn in Combat Alert Alpha.
And we follow Fireteam Raven. That ends up, they are on the Pillar of Autumn.
And the Fireteam obviously made perfect sense.
So we're really an offshoot team that's fighting a big battle just to support Master Chief.
Covenant forces are moving in on the Pillar of Autumn wreckage. Let's help push them back, Raven.
This is our development station. We design the game on this, we make the game on this, we test the game on this, we play the game on this. Our goal is to have 4 people enjoying the game, but also have a crowd of people behind it viewing it. Usually we get, I would say, 30, 40% into the game, then the mechanical engineers come in.
So in our world, we have to make things that hold up to abuse, to liquid spills. There's all kinds of things that we have to deal with in the coin-op world. We have a responsibility to make these things work for average, large, small. Everybody needs to be able to control the gun, to control it comfortably, and to be able to obviously get in and out of the cabinet without problems. So all of that needs to get assembled in its final state at the manufacturing facility. And there they will get...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All the hardware necessary, the I/O board, the monitors, the computer, the gun control.
I really dig the 4-player 2-screen setup.
Our goal is to get this thing as big and bright as possible so that in any location, you can't miss it.
We love to go out
Giant
to locations
reload button.
and watch people playing the game. That's our payoff.
Took me back to the days of Halo CE where you would have to go together to a room to play together.
We really took literally the old LAN couch experience of Combat Evolved and put it into public space.
When I want people to see this, I want them to be shocked that somebody actually built this thing. And I want this game to be everything. Big, exciting, epic.
You can see the full documentary at the URL below. Next, Larry and Jeff are
Okay,
going to tell
that
us
wasn't the
what's
full
coming
thing.
to Xbox Game Pass. Guys, are we going to
A
keep
game
on the
vending
Halo
machine.
theme?
Yeah, that was pretty
Tell me
funny.
so.
For you, Julia, anything. Do we have it?
I think we have.
Oh, you know what that means, Jeff. If you've got Xbox Game Pass, good news, the Master Chief Collection is coming.
All right.
That's right, one of the most requested Game Pass.
As soldiers is to
Wait,
protect
what?
humanity. Whatever the cost.
That was a botch.
Headcanon is that there was an intentional botch.
Against the humans. That's not going to happen.
Chief.
Okay, good.
If he leads the Covenant fleet to Earth, they won't stand a chance. You have to stop him.
the most requested Xbox Game Pass titles will be coming to the service September 1st.
I think you're, even with that pronunciation, underselling it a little bit. The Master Chief Collection is 4 complete games in one tidy package, all with multiplayer, weighing it at 600 achievements with 6,000 gamer score.
Wow.
You've got Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, and yes, Halo 4.
More importantly, though, this represents a major milestone for 343 Industries and the community, spanning several months. They've worked together in the Xbox Insider Preview program to test and refine major new improvements to Master Chief Collection.
Now, when it releases September 1st on Xbox Game Pass, the Master Chief Collection, all of these improvements will be available, including improved matchmaking,
offline LAN support,
faster load times,
and Xbox One X enhanced improvements, including 4K and HDR support, and even better, if you're a multiplayer fan, check it out, 60 frames per second. Halo 3 multiplayer on the pit at 60 FPS. I'm in.
It's like butter. Now, that's the update you're going to see in September. The team, they're not done. Master Chief Collection will continue to see improvements, including an upcoming custom game browser, so you can create and find unique player-created matches and game types. Find what you want.
Oh, God, I love this. This is so fantastic. Now, that's a whole lot of news. How about we tag out and bring some new hosts in so they can keep going? Ready? Go!
Slap hands.
We're good.
It's crazy to me that they didn't have LAN support.
All right,
in
yes,
their
that is huge
request.
news for Halo fans, but the Xbox
Little
Game
detail I
Pass team
missed.
has also had themselves one whale of an August. We've had Hitman Season 1, which, if you haven't played it, harkens back to the best, most creative, challenging, and strategic entries in the series. Agent 47 has never had so many toys to play with and opportunities to exploit.
The team also added Ruiner and Rise Son of Rome, which I know is one of the very first games.
We both loved it.
Like, first time, got my Xbox One, run home, and just finished playing that game. It was awesome. We've also got The Escapist, The Walking Dead, if you love that TV series, awesome game. Another game you love, Connect Rush, a Disney Pixar adventure.
Because they do a great job. You know, we're big Pixar fans at home. My son and I, my son's 5 years old, and they take the worlds of Pixar movies and bring them into the game, and you get to play through those worlds. It's amazing.
I need to have a go on that. And also, something that I love, Dead Rising 2. If you love zombies, gotta play Dead Rising 2.
Absolutely. Now, that was all earlier this month. More recently, Bethesda added Doom and Rage to Xbox Game Pass, 2 single-player shooters at the top of their craft.
And if indie games are more your speed, give Graveyard Keeper a look, which is like absolutely terrifying at moments. It's quite
Graveyard
creepy,
Keeper
you've gotta
looks
give it a go.
legitimately
You're
pretty sick.
ferrying people to the great beyond, and you're collecting based on that.
I know, in the
based on others'
RPG world, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna collect you, just go right ahead.
No, it's all good. And right now, right here during Gamescom, we've got a special promotion that Larry actually told you about earlier. If you do not have Game Pass yet, you can get your first month for $2, and your second month is free.
So there you have it, a ton of great games this month. Master Chief Collection coming September 1st with a huge update, including Xbox One X Enhanced and a special Gamescom only promotion for Xbox Game Pass, $2 for 2 months of Game Pass if you're not yet a member.
And get this, we're still not done. The Xbox Game Pass team has cooked up a brand new way to manage your catalog. Starting today, we're inviting you, our viewers, to participate in the beta for the new Xbox Game Pass mobile app. Now, this app provides a new way to discover and download Xbox Game Pass games, even when you're away from your Xbox One console. We sat down with the project lead last week to talk about the new app.
Okay.
We're developing a Game Pass mobile app so that users can access their Game Pass subscription and manage it anytime, anywhere. We want users to know that we're developing this app for them, and so we would love to get feedback from users of how we're doing, what they like, what we can improve on, what they like to see as we start to develop this app.
Yeah.
We want users to be able to discover the next game that they want to play in the Game Pass catalog. Once they discover the game that they want to play, they can download it to their Xbox home console.
Because like a lot of this stuff you can already do.
Subscription, so understand when games are coming to the catalog.
You can't do the Game Pass
and
games that way.
See the games that are most popular in Game Pass, as well as get exclusive deals
streamlines
that are only available to the Game Pass subscribers. Additionally, they can browse the games by different genres as well. If they have a specific title in mind, they can search in the app. So right now, for Android users, they can go to the Google Play Store to search that Game Pass app and find it and download it to their device. On iOS, we have a limited number of spots, and so if users want to help us test it out, they should act now. They can go and search through Test Flight, go and sign up, and then they'll receive an invitation.
You heard it here first. The Xbox Game Pass beta app is available today. If you have an Android device, the app will be available for everyone
Is anyone supposed to be excited
in the Google
about
Play
that?
Store soon.
And spots are limited for the beta on iOS.
The
so
beta
if you're
for the
someone
app
with an iOS device, you'll
to
need
download
to
the
act
games.
fast. Go to the website below
Okay.
right now and submit that application to be part of the beta.
In just a moment, Graham will dig into Bohemia Interactive's DayZ, but let's get that conversation started right now on the right foot, shall we?
DayZ.
Anybody out there? Do you hear me? Let me be the first to welcome you to the end. Uncivilization. We're in a shitstorm, brother. And the forecast ain't about to change anytime soon. Society has fallen. Now it's every man for himself. Stay alive. This place will test you, beat you down, bleed you dry. If you let it.
Next week.
How good was that trailer? And August 29th, that is right around the corner. So I'd like to welcome Eugene Harton, lead producer at Bohemia Interactive. Welcome, Eugene.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing?
Doing all right. It's a perfect day. We're having an amazing time with the players out there.
I have a feeling that we probably already knew that date.
Speaking to you,
If anyone was
Eugene.
paying
There you go.
attention for it.
Don't worry. Amazing trailer, mate. For people who don't know DayZ or maybe haven't played it before, give us an introduction to the game.
Okay, so the game itself is a hardcore simulation, first and foremost. We want to meet your expectations about living in this amazing post-Soviet world that's all about apocalypse and infected, and basically waking up somewhere where you need to stay alive. And that's the thing that the game is about.
Now, I love the environment and the world you've created in DayZ, and you've really taken inspiration from real-world environments, real-world places. Like, talk us through that process.
Yeah, sure. So the game is actually set in the world of Chernarus, and Chernarus was created quite a long time ago by Bohemia, and these large worlds are something that are very in almost DNA of Bohemia Interactive and being part of our games for quite some time. And Chernarus is actually a snapshot of Czech Republic from around the place that Bohemia is actually based on.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is like you're battling and surviving in neighborhoods and areas and towns that you actually know.
It's basically, you can go out of our office and you're in there. It's so close.
But not as many zombies, right?
No zombies there.
Okay, good. That's a relief. Now, one of the things I love about DayZ is of course the hardcore survival and the action, but it's the relationships between players in the game that really intrigues me. The kind of moral dilemmas that are thrown up. Is that one of the most important things for you guys at Bohemia?
So a lot of people think like we're definitely not a battle royale game, although some people might think so when they look at the game the first time. But in general, like the action is only part of the interaction that you're having in the game. And when you're meeting other players and using voice over IP to talk to them and actually create alliances, there is nothing strict about it. Like you can do whatever you want. So the moral dilemmas that you have in the game itself when you're playing it, and features that empower those interactions, like cannibalism, for example, because eating human meat is a thing in DayZ. And I remember
wait, this doesn't look like what we were just looking at at all. I was holding back. I was skeptical. And all of a sudden,
through generous to survive, and we're feeding them human meat.
What were you showing
and
us?
Human meat actually causes screwing game.
That's not.
Like
that doesn't look anything like that truck we just saw.
That makes your hands shake. So ranged weapons are hardly usable after you do that. And you actually have
yeah,
like
that
a
was
really
real footage
crazy
of a
life
village.
when you have Kuru, so you attract zombies around you.
Right.
So it's like a very detrimental thing. But also, if you need to survive, you'll do anything to survive, and those moral dilemmas are very important.
So what are the, this really is a hardcore survival game, right? So you've talked about cannibalism, which is, I mean, you have to be pretty desperate.
Yeah, we're 18 plus. So.
Right. What are some of the other mechanics for that kind of survival? Like, what do players have to do?
Yeah. So basically, the character itself is simulated in many different ways, from blood types. For example, your character is kept alive not only by health, by blood itself as well. So you bleed out, you need to replenish the blood. It regenerates very slowly, but you can get a transfusion from another player. But you need to find one which has the same blood type as you.
Right.
So we get deep into the simulation itself and want to keep you immersed, making sure that everything that you would experience in real life in a similar situation, you get to experience in DayZ.
Amazing. Now, so DayZ, we've seen the day, August 29th, coming to Xbox Game Preview. Do you have a short message for Xbox gamers, entering the world of DayZ for the first time?
The one thing that I really want to say is that DayZ is an amazing hardcore game, and I can't wait for you guys to actually try it out on 29th of August when it comes to Game Preview. I don't think there's experience like DayZ anywhere else on Xbox, so I'm hopeful that you'll at least try it and enjoy it as much as we do.
All right. Eugene, that's amazing. I can't wait to try it myself. August 29th. So much great info there in DayZ, right? So, on to Division 2. At E3, they showed us a glimpse of a ravaged Washington, D.C., but the team is back with a brand new look at the world you'll be fighting for next year. Let's take a look, shall we?
How could this have happened here? Of all the capitals, of all the nations on Earth.
Little bunny in the street somehow.
It's symbolic.
Safeguarded. Prepared. Was it vanity? Bad luck? Or something more sinister? One thing is beyond question. This is where we push back. This is our defining moment. If we fail, our nation falls. We are the free world's last line of defense.
Okay. I was
Nothing?
I was waiting for that flare to like signal some new big thing.
We're here with Rich and Dan to talk all things Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Welcome, guys.
Wait,
and
that's
thank you
it?
very much
That's
for
all we're
joining
getting for
us.
the Division 2?
Because today we're going to get a sneak
why?
peek at Warrior's Trial. Can you tell us what we're going to look at just in a moment? Because I know we're all big Tomb Raider fans here.
Absolutely. We were talking about this actually right before we went live. Just a few weeks left, yeah? You guys got to be excited.
We are very excited. We cannot wait for fans around the world to get their hands on Shadow of the Tomb Raider. It's been a labor of love for us, and we know that they want to be there for Lara Croft's defining moment, so we can't wait for them to play.
Absolutely. So you have to take us through the trial. We don't have to B-roll with this, but take us through what those trials are.
So Shadow of the Tomb Raider is all about bringing the tombs to the most terrifying level that they've ever been. And the Warrior's Trial is an amazing example.
Why reference to B-roll if you don't have it?
Is at the height of her skills. She is the most capable, the most calculating she's ever been. So in order for there to be
Also, how did that happen?
we have to dial up everything else. So the tombs, the combat, the traversal, everything has to be even harder to give you a challenge, to give Lara a challenge. So Warrior's Trial is all about delivering that challenge.
And the Warrior's Trial for us, when we start thinking about it at the beginning, it was all about, when we talk about on Rise about deadly tombs, the tomb needs to be more dangerous. In this case, for Warrior's Trial is a perfect example of everything tries to kill you. Even the things that you interact with try to kill you. And the interesting part of that tomb, the actual tomb that you're going to see, it's really a mechanism. You know, it's a mechanism coming from the ground. This is something we push. We have one guy on the team that built all that with the, you know, some Lego, so physically building it, and they did a lot of research to make sure that what we're showcasing, even though it looks like technologies that they could use the Mayan at the time, they didn't do it because we're stretching reality. But they had the technology to do that. Whatever was with hydro, you know, with hydraulic and things like that, it was really possible. So this is very exciting to show.
We do have some gameplay as well, which we're going to take a quick look at as well.
Oh, you do?
So should we kind of throw this on? So what are we seeing here? It's on the top.
Yeah. So of course we have to start with the high dive, right? It's the fan favorite.
Of course.
We love letting Lara go full 360-degree movement underwater. So we start just by letting people know that if you explore enough, you may find even a challenge tomb underwater, because underwater survival is a key part of Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
That was a
Rise
cut
of the Tomb
there.
Raider, you were just paddling around the surface. You could submerge just a little bit. Now this is full-on claustrophobic. Manage your oxygen.
That scares me because I remember the first time I wandered in the last Tomb Raider game. I wandered too far into a cave expecting to find a tomb, and I found a bear instead. And I already heard you mention everything wants to kill you.
Everything does, and that's the same thing with underwater, where you've got moray eels, you've got piranhas, you've got crevasses, you've got to squeeze through. Lara doesn't have an oxygen tank, so again, you don't know what's waiting on the other side. It might just be your death.
I mean, she had a magical rebreather in Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Experience. We kind of like experienced that on Rise of the Tomb Raider. In this case, we pushed it a lot, and the only place on Earth that is not fully discovered, it's all these underground caverns. And in this game, we wanted to push that even further. So going underwater, you know, not knowing if you're going to have enough air or not knowing what's going to happen next, but finding a tomb, you know, it's very rewarding. So that was super important for us.
And you talk about fan favorites. One of my favorite parts, me being the fan.
That was interesting. She like shot the grapple.
Yep.
She didn't actually
and the floor would suddenly give out.
Jump on that spot first.
Sequence, that animation where I'm uncontrollably sliding. So what I hoped wasn't certain doom.
We're absolutely delivering even bigger challenge tombs, so I think you're going to like that, because before the challenge tombs were great little, you know, smaller areas, but now the crypts are as big as what the challenge tombs used to be in Rise of the Tomb Raider, and now the challenge tombs are as big as the regular tombs.
Also, what are we starting to see here, because we're coming up to the end of the gameplay kit?
Right, so right now what you're seeing is another example of all the pieces that Lara has to interact with actually being dangerous as well. You saw that she cut her arm on one of the inactive traps. That's to let you know that those obsidian blades are still going to kill you. So of course there are traps in the tombs, but there are also just puzzle pieces that if you fail to interact with them correctly, will kill you. So this is, right now, we've never shown anything beyond this moment. So this is the first time that you're going to get to see how you have to interact with the different puzzle elements of the Warrior's Trial. And you can see that this is filled with spinning contraptions, blades, flames, everything trying to stop Lara from reaching the secret.
You seriously weren't joking when you said everything's been like
I'm still a little confused as to what the Warrior's Trial is. Is it just this one tomb?
I love that if the camera cut back right now, they'd see Benny and I hunched over watching this gameplay reveal for the first time with everybody else. Like, we're super excited for this.
Well, we love, and thank you. We love making it feel like Lara has to earn the secrets of the world. You know, if you think about Shadow of the Tomb Raider, just like every other game in the Tomb Raider series, it is always about the world being a character that is pushing against Lara to protect its secrets. And so,
compared to a lot of what else we've seen, it is nice actually seeing the game and then going through it and showing what they're describing.
Well, and Tomb Raider in particular, we haven't seen a lot of the tombs. They've kept them really under wraps.
Just a few short weeks away. We're almost there, yeah? Remember, Xbox Game Pass subscribers can play Rise of the Tomb Raider right now. All right, well, you know what goes great with a fantastic new game release? A hot new bundle, of course.
Check out the Xbox
these
One
bundles.
X Shadow of the Tomb Raider bundle. So
But they're not doing anything special with these Xboxes.
And it comes with the full game download of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, a wireless controller.
I think the Trial of the Warrior is a challenge tomb.
It's
just
just one
one
challenge.
challenge.
14-day Xbox Live Gold trial, so pre-order away. So, coming up in just a moment, Graham will be sitting down with Ralph Fulton from Playground Games to talk all things Forza Horizon 4. But first, a deeper look into one of the announcements.
Actually, kind of forgot that was coming.
Bandai Namco
Time to shine, blood.
Supermassive Games. Yes, that's right, Supermassive Games, to bring you an exciting new horror anthology series called The Dark Pictures.
Oh,
The first
I
game
missed
is
that that
called
was
Man
Bandai
of
Namco
Down
that was
and
doing
will
that.
launch in 2019. Here's Pete
I don't know what this
Samuels
is.
from Supermassive
It was
to
in
give us
the
a first
opener earlier.
Okay. Sounds
So
intriguing.
it's like this might be the same trailer.
I'm Pete Samuels. I'm the managing director of Supermassive Games.
Oh, it's like a dev
and
diary,
executive
okay.
Producer for the Dark Pictures Anthology.
You should have never gone down to that plane in the first place. It's bad luck. You think you can scavenge down there and it makes no difference, but every single thing you bring back has an essence. It's like a ghost you invite to the surface. People drown in these waters and you have to respect their resting place.
Damn straight. Brad, you got a fun ghost story, right?
Dark Pictures Anthology is a series of standalone horror games building on Supermassive's reputation for horror, where the choices that you make and the actions that you take define the stories that you get. First game, Man of Medan, will release in 2019. Our plan from there is to release 2 games a year. Each story is unique and has different characters, different environments, and is based on different subgenres of horror.
Oh, shit! Oh.
Gamescom 2018 is an incredibly exciting time and important milestone for Supermassive. Not only is it our 10-year anniversary as a studio.
What a great idea, though, for
announcing
Supermassive
to as a significant
experiment with all of these different types of horrors and tiny little games. I like that a lot.
An exciting partnership with Bandai Namco Entertainment. And it's the very first time that we're announcing that we're bringing our games to Xbox. And everybody in the studio is massively excited about that.
Ooh, spooky stuff there. Right, it's my favourite time of Gamescom. I am here with Ralph Poulton from Playground Games.
You should go back and see the original trailer because there was some scary stuff in there for sure.
Okay, I'd like to see a lot more of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish we
How is it a long trailer or just
It's not too long.
crammed with more?
Yeah.
Okay, so they give you an idea of what different kinds of things they'll be doing, not just one.
Right.
Good stuff.
But it is very much along the same lines of Until Dawn.
Okay.
Yeah. Wasn't my fault.
That's great. Until Dawn, I really enjoyed. So.
Anyway, Forza Horizon 4, it's coming up very fast now.
Isn't it? Yeah, we're on the train now, aren't we? So yeah, we're here at Gamescom. We have got a bunch of things that we're showing people for the first time, a bunch of things we're talking about for the first time, as well as obviously recapping some of the big things about the game. There's so many big, exciting things about the game. As we talked about at E3, it's in Britain, which is awesome. Seasons is a huge component of the game. We're doing a little bit about that, showing people more of what the world looks like in different seasons. But yeah, we've got big news about how the online works in the game, and specifically we're talking about some of our truly competitive PvP modes in the game.
Wicked. Well, let's talk about some of that. We've got some nice gameplay up here. Nice Cosy there.
It's lovely, that car, actually. I think that's actually one of the cars that you will get fairly early on in the game, and honestly it's just a blast to drive. And yeah, I think what we're looking at here right now is a pretty newly revamped PvP multiplayer mode called Team Adventure. So if you are familiar with previous Horizon games, as I know you are,
absolutely.
Online adventure has been the way you go and compete with others in Horizon games online. And the format has been broadly similar for the last couple of games in that it's all about the open world.
Where was that guy
it's all
going?
pretty seamless, you know, so you don't have to wait in lobbies, you're always driving, you're always in control of your car. And it takes you on a bit of a tour around the world, and you'll do races or you'll do games or you'll do a mixture of both depending on what you've chosen. That format is great. What we've done this time is a couple of things. One, we have made it like genuinely skill-based, genuinely competitive, you know, so the person who is first will be in first, you know. Skills doesn't augment that anymore, clean racing doesn't augment that anymore. So it's a real test of skill in this kind of competition. And then the second one is reflected in the name. It's now called Team Adventure. That's what we're looking at here. So everything about this mode is now team-based.
Right. So the points are based on how your teammates are performing just as much as about how you're performing as well, right?
I think that's absolutely key, and it's the root of why we've made this decision and gone in this direction. The problem with online racing sometimes is that if somebody gets out in front, you're pretty certain they're going to win. You know, it's kind of a foregone conclusion. And other people can, you know, become a little bit less engaged in the game. You know, maybe they quit out of the game. Nobody wants that. It's not good for anybody in the game. With team racing, you know, maybe you're not the fastest in the field, but even just battling for second last, you know, you could get the points which, you know, are pivotal for your team that actually you end up winning as a team.
It's
so
just
everybody can
crazy
make a contribution.
how many people are doing this at the same time.
You know,
Yeah, I was just going to say, this explanation kind of sounds like the pitch we got for Sonic Team Racing.
Well, it's Sonic Team Racing, it's Onrush, it's Trailblazers.
Communication that you've now got, right? You've got these little emotes and communication lines that you can send to your teammates.
Absolutely, quick chat is
all
new
connected,
for the game.
man.
It's brilliant in the shared world. You know, you're just tootling around the world. It's great to, you know, to chat to other people. You get a whole different set of quick chat messages that you.
So yeah,
can
so there was zombie.
for
You've
a
got the
game
two
like this,
teams,
for
and then you've got
playground
a
game.
zombie
We're watching
team.
what is survivor mode right now. So you have a different set of messages that you can fire off, as I'm sure you'll see some of the players in this footage doing, just to add a little bit of gamesmanship, you know, a little bit of fun to the proceedings.
But it's important to say as well, like, if players for whatever reason aren't motivated by competition or PvP, or they just want to get into the beautiful world you've created but not have other players in there, they can set it up that way, right?
Yeah, I'd love to know the
Absolutely,
PC
and
requirements
I think,
for
you
this.
know, we really think about making Horizon as a game for everyone. You know, we have so many different player types, so many different player tastes. And yeah, you're absolutely right. There's some people that say to me, I just don't want to play in a shared world. I want to play offline on my own. You can absolutely do that. It's as easy as clicking a button in the pause menu, and then you will play an experience very similar to Forza Horizon 3. You know, so your world will be populated with drive avatars rather than real players, and it's as easy as, you know, just pressing that button. That's also great for you and I. You know, if our maybe our internet goes down at home, a lot of games they're going to kick you out to the pause menu or to the main menu when that happens.
We haven't seen an Iron Mixer
Horizon 4
yet,
does
have
it
we?
very elegantly, very
No, not
seamlessly,
yet.
and just basically transitions you into being in an offline state for as long as your internet is down.
All right, good.
Check out my car.
Back to PvP and competition. What other modes have you got in there for those players?
So you will have. In fact, you just said to me off stage, you recognise that as Infected.
Right.
It's actually a team-based version of Infected. So what we've gone and done. Racing
I feel like
takes
nice
kind of
driving will
team-based
only be
racing,
used
you kind of understand how
sarcastically.
that's going to work.
There's no
If you
way
think
that
about
will ever be
games like
used genuinely.
Infected and King and Flag Rush. What we really wanted to do was introduce an element of team play, of cooperation, so that it's not just about, you know, the guy who tags the most and infected people. Rather, it makes it about the team, so that there's that teamwork aspect, and the best team is the one that triumphs in the end. We've done that with all the modes there. So Infected becomes Survivor. It's now a round-based game. So one team starts as the Survivor, one team starts as the Infected. Right from the start, one goes at the other team. The twist is that if you are a survivor and you get infected, one of your teammates who's not infected can heal you.
Nice.
So there's a real back and forth sort of push-pull dynamic to the game, which is totally new. It's incredibly fun. We've done that with each of the games to make sure that, you know, teams want to work together, they communicate. And I really see that when we launch this game, I think there's going to be people, not everybody, but some people who really go all in on teams. They build their own team, their identity, their team badge, the outfits they wear when they compete.
Right.
And for
The infection mode
there's a
sounds
Grandmaster
legitimately
League,
very,
which
very
is
fun.
like the best
Yeah.
players in the
Yeah,
world.
it always
I
has
think
been.
a lot of people are going to be striving to get
I
there.
think
can't
this
wait to see
idea
how
of
quickly
being able
somebody
to heal
actually gets
somebody
up to
and
that
the
skill
multiple
level.
teams,
Right.
so it's going to make it
So
last a
you've
little
obviously
longer.
created this amazing world, beautiful historic Britain. Tell us more about the shareable world and how you can actually share that with other players.
Yes, absolutely. So when you're driving around and you haven't opted out, as I described, basically we're just matchmaking you with players. So you are seeing other players where previously you'd have seen drive avatars. I think drive avatar technology has served us incredibly well. It does that brilliant thing of injecting personality into your world. How can we get more personality into our world? It's by actually having real people. That's our genuine belief about how that works. And we see this in the studio as we scale up our testing and fill our world with real people. Real people do crazy things, they do fun things, they do unexpected things. And even if you only play like in the mindset of a solo player, you just go about your races, you do your PR stunts and what have you.
Yeah.
I think they'll add some colour, some vibrancy to the world, which just wasn't there before.
Fantastic. Ralph, thank you so much for your time as always. Have a great week at Gamescom. And personally, I just wanted to say thank you for putting Edinburgh in the game.
My pleasure.
A dream come true, Jimmy.
Pleasure.
All right. As you can tell,
Just wanted
I'm
to say
super
thank you
excited for Forza Horizon
taking
4.
care of my dog
Surprise,
last
surprise.
weekend.
So
All right.
surely there must be a Forza Horizon 4 console bundle, right, Larry?
Surely.
Bundles, all right.
Surely.
But right now, I got myself into this thing. This
Comes with a
is
car.
I had to break out
Yeah.
the gloves for this. This is the McLaren
This is
Senna,
the,
which is the $1 million cover car for Forza Horizon. I had to wear the gloves for this thing. They're going to take the keys away from me. This thing is unbelievable. There's only 500 made, but it is the cover car for Forza Horizon 4. Chris Bishop is here to join us. Chris from the Forza.
And if you have $1 million, you can get the Xbox bundle with the McLaren.
What can you tell us about this?
They're only making 500 of them. It's the perfect car to be the cover car of Forza Horizon 4 because the handling and the aero is just out of this world.
I want them to put the car on Game Pass.
Amazing hardware, but we have
That's what I
Xbox
want.
hardware to show
We
as
do.
well, right? What do we have here?
So happy to announce a Xbox One S, $299 comes
What?
with Forza Horizon 4, of course.
Why?
1 month Game Pass, 2 weeks of
Why
Xbox
not the X?
Live Gold. Great value.
The game's 60 frames on
$299,
the-
and it'll be
the
available
X.
at launch October 2nd.
This is one of the cheapest ways to get this car.
Yeah,
Great
that's
value.
weird.
Yeah, digitally
But
correct.
that's
Yeah.
not all.
We got more, yeah.
What do we have?
Okay,
here?
there it is.
There you
This
go.
is the Xbox One X bundle and includes both Forza
We got
Horizon
too excited.
4 and Forza Motorsport 7.
Right.
1 month Game Pass, $2, 2
And
weeks
Leafs.
of Xbox Live Gold. Both, of course, come with the wireless controller. So 2 great options for a new Xbox customers.
To get yourself into Forza Horizon 4,
Yeah.
which comes out when?
October 2nd, and both the bundles will be available at launch.
This is fantastic.
And
I know
that's
I'm really
not all.
excited about this
Here it
game. It
is
was
on
great to see
Scorpio.
Ralph and Graham together again up on stage. I am so excited for this game. It looks beautiful. I'm going to give this back to you because I got to throw it back to the stage and get back into my car. Chris, thank you so much. All right, now we're going to go back to the stage to wrap things up.
Thank
Wrap
you,
things
Larry.
up.
It has
That's
been
it.
an incredible
Wait.
experience here at Gamescom.
What was
we
the-
introduced Hunt Showdown to the Xbox
What was
world.
the redacted?
We dug into a brand new
Is it Hunt
Megaroids
Showdown?
Exodus experience.
I think it was
Wanda
Hunt Showdown.
Russell was here from Undead Labs to tell us about
Really?
the Daybreak
What else
pack
would it be?
for State of Decay 2.
We had a visit
It
from
has to
Bethesda's
be,
Pete
but
Hines
man,
who showed
really?
off the new camp system for Fallout 76. Plus, we unveiled the sweet, sweet Battlefield 5 Gold Rush Xbox One X bundle.
Oh yes, it's a bundle of bundles. So it's great to have so much to look forward to. From great bundles to new controllers, DLC, and
Okay.
Master Chief Collection coming to Xbox Game Pass. And as long as we're talking about the future, Episode 7 of Inside Xbox will be live from, brace yourself, an undisclosed location. You can unbrace yourself now. Okay.
Why?
Okay, to celebrate one of the biggest launches of the year, Forza Horizon 4. And I can't wait to find out where they're sending us. I'm definitely coming, right? Right? You have to do it now. It's not
Well,
straight.
we're going. Secrets
Yes.
are no fun unless Julia makes you a part of one. Either way, I'm in. Now, we've had a ton of fun today, and I'm looking forward to seeing everything Gamescom has to offer. From all of us here in Cologne, Germany, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on Inside Xbox.
Bye!
I think the show floor is actually closing. Everyone's kind of booking it, it looks like.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. Definitely underwhelming.
Yeah.
Particularly that redacted was Hunt Showdown.
I mean, I think it should be said that this wasn't a press conference. This was an episode of Inside Xbox, so you can't have the same level of expectation. But I think even removed from that comparison, it was disappointing. Like, a lot of what they had, they didn't show off well.
Right. Yeah, well, especially when you've got games that you're already familiar with.
Right.
We've seen multiple times, seen multiple
Right.
reveals.
But even trying to take like another perspective of
not
like,
really.
I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
There were things on there where it's like, even if I try to imagine somebody never encountering this game, I don't know what they got out of it in some instances. And yeah, it was just all over the place. There were some sections that I thought were okay, but overall it was just kind of a wet blanket, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, they started with Hunt Showdown, which I mean, the game looks great. It's a good game. It's just again, like that coming to console, coming to game preview isn't
Right.
all that exciting, you know, unless you know you've been wanting to get your hands on it, but it's not the same as like, yeah, it's not the same as having a big reveal. It's not really feels like something that's worth keeping secret, or at least if you keep it secret, they're not like worth teasing it ahead of time.
Right.
They had a big PUBG dev diary.
Yeah.
Which really was just promoting 1.0 for Xbox. but spent a lot of time just at the studio, which I think in some ways that definitely has value. It's just such a long presentation.
Yeah.
This 2-hour presentation.
I think what we got out of it for how long it was, like those two things didn't match up. They could have cut it in half, it felt like.
Yeah. They talked about 2 new options for the Design Lab controllers, which looks cool, but I don't know if it's... Yeah. It's not... I don't know if it's enough to, like, get anyone to jump back in and get another one, or, like, oh, now's the time. Like, I have to get that design.
Yeah, I thought they looked good. They
definitely do.
I liked those 2 styles. Again, it was one of those things, though, with like the way that they presented it for what it was. Like, hey, we're adding these options in the Design Lab. That could have been over in a minute.
Very quickly, yeah. Battlefield 5, I think, was one of those situations where it was like, what are you telling me that's new here? Because like a lot of this sounds like stuff I've heard before, already knew about, how the different combat roles work together and play together. We saw that at E3. Brad played that at E3.
Yeah. It's hard for me because with all these different events, it feels like we just get very tiny morsels at a bunch of different ones. And so the customization stuff, I knew it was in there, but I felt like I got a little bit more insight into what it was like. But there were things about the way that they structured some of those sentences that I thought was a little odd. They're like, assault, you'll have more ways to tackle the enemy, and it's like, well, I don't know what that means. Whereas some of them were a lot clearer, where it's like, oh, okay, this is what this person's going to be able to do.
Right.
Just again, a little bit more info. You don't have to go on and on and on, but would have been helpful, because the customization sounds cool. That's why I say that. Like, they had me on the hook for that stuff.
Yeah.
But
next, I had State of Decay 2, the Daybreak Pack, which is kind of like a separate mode offshoot from what you normally do in the game.
A separate mode that has rewards for you going through it. Wave base gets progressively harder.
7 waves, they said.
Yeah, there is permadeath, but you will respawn as you're going through it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in giving it a shot. I think I reviewed State of Decay 2, and my biggest thing with it was once you kind of got into the loop, it got old very quickly, despite constantly being at risk. And so having something completely new in there sounds good. It's just odd where you have a game that is so built around your community that focuses on your success, on your loss, and then be like, yeah, none of them are at risk over here, but you get rewarded and help them if you do well. It's just a little strange to me. But seems okay.
Sea of Thieves, probably one of the more interesting things they've shown for an expansion is volcanic area, the Forsaken Shores.
Yeah.
Talked about having rowboats, which it's one of those things that in hindsight is like, why weren't those there? You always had to like hop off the ship and swim back and forth. But it is fun to hear them talk about being able to like stuff that full of like booby traps and things like that.
Yeah, I really liked that guy in that presentation. He had a lot of energy. I think he was able to explain the game well. And the idea of running away with your crew as a volcano is erupting sounds exciting, intense, and exactly the way that you would want it to be. And so I think it was a much better sell than a lot of other things that were in this presentation.
Yeah,
and I haven't played Sea of Thieves in months.
Cannonballs sound fun and interesting too.
Right, just quirky, really encouraging, that player interaction. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Fallout 76, actually described as a remix of E3 and QuakeCon.
Yeah.
That's like this. But the funny thing is like that's a lot of times what Gamescom kind of those demos can feel like. At least the stuff that's out in the public areas. It's like, okay, we showed this stuff first at E3. We kind of get the builds a little tighter, get them ready for the public, and then the business center with the behind closed door stuff, that's where we're going to show the real new stuff. Like that's how it's always been with Assassin's Creed. It's like the show floor had the same demo that we played at E3, and then like, okay, go to Ubisoft's booth, sit down, have some coffee, and here we're going to show you the new stuff that you can report on later.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around the way Bethesda is approaching Fallout 76, because obviously after E3, we had a lot of questions, and I think that was intensified by the fact that like this game is coming out really soon. And then we didn't really get a lot, and then Gamescom, it's like, hey, we're going to show you how this perk system works, and it felt like the first time since... At QuakeCon, sorry, that's what I meant. At QuakeCon, they showed you how the perk system works, and it's like, oh, this is the first time I'm actually getting real, substantial information on that game, and so it kind of felt like they were rolling out, kind of like showing us their hand a little bit more, and then to come into Gamescom and just feel like we're getting nothing again is a little bit frustrating.
They briefly, but still not that brief, but they talked about the 5 PC games coming to Steam, which are games that I'm guessing probably weren't selling all that much anyway.
Sure.
Talking about Disneyland Adventures, Recore, and Zoo Tycoon, which Recore is probably the most exciting of those. They touched on Ori having the speedrunning trials, where you can compete against other players' ghosts to get through a like modified section of the game.
Yeah, which I think is a cool idea, and I thought it was odd that for so many other things they had somebody there to talk about, to try to illuminate what was going on, and then it was just kind of some moments of silence as we watched people go through it, and then that was it. And so that felt awkward. But yeah, I think the mode is potentially cool.
Metro Exodus, they actually did spend quite a bit of time on, and I think, you know, like I haven't kept up on all the gameplay for Metro, but I mean, this felt like some fresh new stuff, some new environments.
Yeah.
Got to see them fighting some of the wolves, and these kind of Ewok style outposts here are pretty interesting.
Yeah, just in terms of what they showed from a gameplay perspective, I felt like we really got a lot of sneaking around, a very good look at the environment. Still would like more like hard information, but just looking at it, just watching them go through it, I think was very enjoyable and was one of the highlights for me.
Yeah,
overall.
And I think it's good at showing that, you know, they're really breaking away from, you know, the past games environments where you're just always either like in the metro or in the same ruins of the city. And then we saw Life is Strange 2 for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
I know you hadn't seen it yet, but it's kind of funny to me that, you know, I guess props to Square Enix for making sure that anybody that's watching Gamescom is going to see this.
Yeah, and this is just my initial reaction to the trailer. Obviously, I've only seen it with sound once, and I don't know if this is because I haven't finished Life is Strange or Captain Spirit, but I don't know that I fully understand what's going on in this game. I don't know if they're referencing something that
I
I'm
think
just not picking
it's
up on.
intentionally cryptic.
Okay.
Yeah, they're showing that there's some kind of power here with what happened to the police officer, that probably one of these boys has a power, maybe the younger boy, I don't know. But yeah, obviously this thing happened. It set them on the run, but who knows where it goes from there and how their journey crosses paths. What was interesting is Huber said that he saw Captain Spirit tie-ins.
Interesting.
I didn't. I played through Captain Spirit, and I'm not sure what he actually spotted, so I'd be curious to pick his brain about that.
Need those Huber eyes.
All right, and here's the highlight.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry. And yeah, what do you think about how this came out?
So this is the number one game that I'm looking forward to above anything else, and I thought it looked really good because of what they showed that they're adding to Nero's character. So Nero in Devil May Cry 4, he didn't get new weapons the same way that Dante would, and so I think a cool way of adding that is this breaker system, but the fact that you can lose them or use them in a panic button situation, and they all have different effects, and it looks like you can easily switch on the fly, it's just adding all of this versatility on a character that could already do a lot and was very fun to play. And so to me, that's just immediately exciting, and that they're not like, hey, here's Nero from Devil May Cry 4 with maybe like a little thing here and there. It's like, no, this feels like a substantial addition to this character. It is going to feel new. It is going to feel fresh. It is going to feel exciting. And just kind of like, your mind going wild with possibilities for wanting to perfect fights. Like when they were shooting the laser and they're like, hey, this is better in close areas and having it bounce around and trying to work that into different combos. It just kind of seems like everything that you would want, honestly. Just really a lot of nuance there for you to dig in if you want to, if you get excited by that sort of thing, and I definitely do.
One thing that really stood out to me is the amount of kind of destruction and environmental deformation and stuff, because I feel that for all the strengths that past Devil May Cry games had, it didn't feel like there was that much, like the environments felt kind of static in a way. Like you would have like lampposts and stuff that would break apart, but nothing like this where you just like see this huge church coming down or see the floor rupture up underneath of you.
Right. Like, especially if we compare it to 1 through 4, I think a lot of times with Devil May Cry, and there are exceptions to this, but you're just sort of fighting in a relatively small arena, or you're going through, narrow hallways or something like that. And so to have him running alongside a giant beast through a ruined area is very cool and potentially awesome. And like
this Dante tease.
This is your Doc Brown spider monster right here. Like, that's the kind of thing you need in a game that is already so exciting and so over the top. It's like, yeah, well, what if we just use our motorcycle as a weapon and we split it in two? That was great. Yeah.
Super good. And then we got to see raw gameplay while they were having the interview. Mm-hmm. See this boss fight a little bit more. See the grapple system.
Right. And just, again, it's so noticeable. He's just pretty much staying in the air the entire time using the tools that he has, and I think that's so cool. I think this monster is great, just shooting stuff out of his stomach, leaping around, all the debris flying around you. There's a lot of just tremendous detail going on here. I think it's great.
Absolutely. We got a new quick look at Sable.
Yeah.
Coming in 2019. Got to see a little bit of a dungeon. Got to see this like orb kind of gliding mechanic.
I kind of went through some ups and downs with Sable, where with the trailer I was like, oh, this looks great, what a unique style, and then we kind of saw the character running around more, and I'm like, this is stiff and stuttery, this doesn't seem quite right. But then they're like, hey, it's coming out late 2019, and I was like, okay, there's no reason to
but some of that's,
be overly critical right
some
now.
Of that stutteriness seems to be part of the animation style.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how the final product actually looks and is captured, and what things kind of strike people in different ways, because I feel like some of the stuff that they're going for very intentionally, it's just gonna bug certain people. They just don't like one effect or another for whatever reason. But I think it looks very promising, and I'm curious to see exactly how it all comes together.
Yeah, I think if I had to use one word for Sable, that would be the one I would choose, is promising, for sure.
We spent a lot of time on Halo arcade game that is already out in America.
Right.
Obviously, this is Gamescom, so it's coming to Europe as well, but it was basically a dev diary about how arcade games get made.
Yeah, it was cool, right? It was neat seeing people going in and building the cabinets and seeing kind of the slow transformation of it. And I think the Halo arcade game itself is really intriguing, but this is not a thing coming to Xbox, and we're spending a ton of time on it. I think that's the disconnect for me. I don't have anything against this game at all, but just right in the middle of this episode, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because it's like I actually did enjoy this little mini documentary.
Yeah,
and how it was
I agree.
Put together, but at the same time, it was almost like, hey, we're going to force you to watch this thing because you're not going to otherwise.
Right.
If we just put the link on Twitter. It's curious. But I'm glad that there's, still this company out there that's really dedicated to making quality arcade games.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't speak to the quality of the game itself, but the cabinet and the build and everything.
I do feel like one of us should go to a Dave & Buster's to play it.
Sure.
And report back.
Four of us.
Yeah.
Ideally, but
yeah. Absolutely.
Then
get that on Frame Trap.
They talked about Master Chief Collection getting a big update and coming to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Getting Xbox One X features, LAN play, improving that notorious matchmaking issues.
Yeah, what a ride this game has been on, huh?
That's been a long time.
It's been a very long time.
3 years ago now that came out?
I think it was 3 years ago. Yeah, I think it was 2015, I want to say.
Yeah. So it is... It's kind of weird. It's weird news that we're still talking about improving matchmaking this long afterwards. I don't know that it's necessarily good news. But at the same time, this is going to be the go-to way to play these games. So you get it right. If it takes you 5-10 years to get it right, just get it right eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the reward of getting it so right is high, right? Like I would jump into Halo 1 through 3 any day of the week as long as it works correctly.
They talked a lot about Game Pass editions. I didn't write much of that down, or if anything.
I don't blame you. New app for Game Pass, which I'm with you 100%.
The Shadow Drop beta app that you have to go through test flight and everything.
Like a good idea. Absolutely. I'm into that. There are a lot of times.
But I just don't get why it's not a page on the existing app. And
having to download another thing and bounce between them, it is
I don't
weird.
remember if Xbox did the messages thing too, but remember...
No, they did. Yeah, so the messages is separate from the PlayStation app,
Yeah, that's what I mean. PlayStation separated them out.
Yeah.
I don't know if Xbox has separated messages from their main app or not. I can't remember.
I think messages are inside the main app, but I'm not 100% sure.
It's weird to me. It's like I would rather just have a go-to Xbox app, a go-to PlayStation app, just have it all one spot.
Chat is giving us the info. Messages is on a separate app.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're getting conflicting information.
Okay.
No, it's the main app. Okay. That's what I thought. I thought it was the main app, but I wasn't sure. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just any time with an app, like, it's not fun bouncing between things. You want it all right there. I agree with you 100%. However, I do find myself, like, more and more frequently as the years goes on, getting excited about something and wanting to download it right away, just so you don't have to sit at home and wait for it. So, like, even though this isn't the most convenient thing, I'm still glad it's there.
Sure.
Especially if they're pushing Game Pass as hard as they are.
They talked a bit about DayZ coming to game preview next week, which I'm guessing had to have already been known. Anything there that felt like a takeaway?
No, which is crazy, right? Like, I feel like we've just been kind of going through DayZ for a very, very, very long time, and there wasn't really anything to, in my opinion, get newly excited about or latch on to. I don't know. It was very, very, very bizarre. Somebody in chat, as it was going on, mentioned it was like, it's weird when this feels like a blast from the past.
Right.
Like DayZ coming out now, it just feels like the timing is strange and like kind of two ships crossing in the night. I don't know. It was hard to be pumped about this.
Somebody's mentioning, so the stream category is under Gamescom 2017 because for some reason either Twitch or Gamescom didn't decide to give us a new option. There wasn't just a blank Gamescom or a Gamescom 2018. So the only way to mark this as a Gamescom stream is to go with 2017. So apologies for that if it feels confusing. The Division 2 had a story trailer that just kind of retreaded the same ground. It didn't do anything again. It had a flair that felt like it was leading up to something, and then it led up to not really anything.
So not all that long ago, I think it was 2 months ago, I revisited The Division.
Yeah.
After kind of being underwhelmed by it at first, and I was actually having a really good time. I liked it, and that revisitation made me even more excited for The Division 2. And like, I really feel like there's something to that game that is very different from what its direct competition is doing. Like, it does have its own identity, so it's frustrating to kind of just get these nothing moments where it's hard to take anything away. You don't get any new information. It just feels like fluff. It's generic, and it sucks. It's not how you want these games to be presented.
Yeah.
Very disappointing.
We actually did see a fair bit of new stuff for Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I thought that was...
That challenge to him.
Yeah, again, along with Metro and Devil May Cry 5, I think this would be like the third highlight for me.
we had a weird moment at the beginning where like we don't have the B-roll, but then I guess somebody got it. So they must have been a like last minute technical issue there. But I did see. I don't know if this was the exact tomb, but I did see in the behind closed door demo at E3 that this section where like you high dive and you go underwater and you find a tomb entrance.
Right.
So I'm curious how many times we see that play out. I do remember that, you know, at the time when I saw that, it didn't feel like there was all that much to like really mark that, hey, this is a hidden area.
Right.
It just kind of felt like just like a puddle or like a small pool that you would normally swim through. So it's really cool to find. I was like, okay, like these anytime that you have a bit of water, like you should dive down into it, check it out,
you could
see what's
find
there. There could
an
be
entire
something
tomb
very
down there.
interesting, yeah.
And I do love the idea of having these different sizes of challenges.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like I want to explore everywhere, and if this is a good indication of what the challenge tombs are going to be like at least in this presentation, it feels huge. It feels substantial. It doesn't feel like one little puzzle and you're done. And so I like that a lot.
And one thing, Brandon mentioned that the puzzles, you can have different difficulty settings for traversal, combat, and puzzles.
Can you change that at any time, or is that I have to decide this out the gate?
Brandon, do you remember?
It pops up right at the beginning of the demo. Sorry. It popped up right away when I started the campaign. I don't know if you can change it on the fly. It seems like you would be able to. That seemed like a tricky thing to kind of lock yourself into for a whole campaign.
Right.
But I'm curious, like,
and I did mess around with it, so I don't know what it specifically affects.
Yeah, I'm curious when they talk about having a difficulty setting for puzzles, like how does that work in something like a challenge tomb where these are very elaborately designed, they're very integrated into the world space.
I wonder if it's like windows of opportunity. You know, there's like lots of these things that are big gizmos that are rotating or elevators that are going up and down. I wonder if it's like the speed at which they move, so you get a little less of a little pocket of time to kind of jump in and get to a switch or something.
Sure. The one thing we do know in terms of traversal is that, you know, it's about markers. So easy mode, you'll have the clear white markers. Hard mode, you'll have no markers whatsoever to say this is where handheld is or anything like leading you on a path. So you really have to be more observant about those kinds of things. And then the normal mode is sort of this in between where it's there's markers there, but they're kind of obscured or more grayed out.
Tracifer in chat is saying the puzzle difficulty relates to how much she'll talk and give you clues as you're going through,
okay.
Which makes a lot of sense.
I got it.
So thank you for that, Tracifer.
So hard mode on puzzles is to make Lara be a little more quiet.
One of the things, and maybe I'm making this more of a deal than it is, but sounded really interesting, and I didn't get a good sense during the demonstration itself, is the idea of, hey, even if these things, you know, aren't moving around and trying to kill you, they're still dangerous materials that you can still hurt yourself on, or if you use them incorrectly, that could lead to trouble. And I just kind of want to get a better sense of what that means, and to me, that would help get me into it, where it's like, oh man, like this isn't just something that looks really dangerous, but I just need to find the right slot to get it into, and it can't hurt me. It's like, oh no, I have to think about like how I pick this up, how I handle this. I like that idea, and I think it really goes well with the survival thing that they're going for.
Yeah. Then we got a little bit of a dev diary for the Dark Pictures Anthology, which is Supermassive, the developer behind Until Dawn. Basically a partnership between them and Bandai Namco to produce, I think they say 5 games in total. I don't remember the exact number, but they're talking about like doing like 2 releases a year,
right
after Man of Medan is out, which is the first game that we've seen here, and spanning multiple subgenres of horror and different takes on things. I think it's an interesting way to go about it.
I think it's a great idea. This diary was weird to me, and again, I'm learning about this for the first time. This whole idea.
It feels like it's supplemental.
Yeah.
So I do think that it's maybe a bit of a misstep to have split these things up.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have
yeah.
the trailer in one presentation and then the dev diary in another, because this is referencing the stuff that you ideally have already seen and you didn't see it.
Right. Or, like, it's fine if you're just going to have a presentation that is like, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going to be telling a bunch of different types of stories. Here's them all kind of mixed together. Now, for the Xbox thing, we're going to focus on one. But I don't really feel like I learned a lot about this genre that they're focusing on, this one aspect of this project. And just more information there would have really helped me kind of wrap my head around what it is exactly they're trying to do.
Well, and we haven't seen anything really about the other ones. They really are just focused on this first game.
one, okay.
Yeah. And then they basically wrapped it up with Forza Horizon 4.
Yeah.
And most of it was kind of reiterating things that we learned before. But the newest thing that they really focused on was the team adventure, and they may have even brought that up before, but I think it's new. But basically, rather than just everyone individually competing for first place and whatever point you get, you're all contributing to a pool of points essentially, so that the best out of the two teams wins. And then that will also apply to some of the playground games like the Infected mode and such. Racing is fun. That's a tag that you can pick while you're trying to drive. Racing is fun.
That nice driving, man.
I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
Do you ever use those kind of tags in a game like this? Would you see yourself trying to shout out somebody via text over your car?
It's interesting because I think when you are removed from it, it does seem and is kind of super lame and stiff and unnatural, but games kind of develop these languages where they take on their own meaning, and what I immediately jump to is like emotes in Hearthstone, where like sure somebody might be saying well played, but that might mean a totally different thing. That might just be mocking you, and it just becomes part of the joke, part of the language of the game. And so it'll be interesting to see how they're used, if they're used at all.
Yeah.
If it's
Which
just
ones,
people trolling each
really
other.
become memes and such.
Yeah. Like, I'm going to be using I'm on Mixer, for sure, because I think it's funny, but...
Nice driving, for sure.
Yeah.
As they go off the road.
Blood, this game in particular, I have enjoyed the Forza games in the past on an extremely casual level. I just don't have the knowledge to really dig into them. But what they're showing me on it just visually looks so good and so much fun that it's hard not being on board for this. It seems like something you can just jump into and have a great time and kind of marvel at the environment.
And like they said, like they are really focusing on, letting this be, the kind of racing game that anybody can jump into, no matter their skill level, no matter whether they want to play online or offline. I really do think that the way that they've thought through what being always online means will really make a difference. Like it is, pretty annoying in other online racers to get booted out to the main menu because of a connection error that has, no rhyme or reason as to why this happened. You just get disconnected from a server somehow, and then you have to go through the process of logging back in just to get back to where you were. And with this, it's just like, oh, you're offline now, but keep doing what you were doing. It's fine. Just keep going. So final thoughts overall, it was kind of a wash for the most part.
Yeah. There is one thing that I was thinking of with Devil May Cry 5, just real quick to go back to that, is so they had a Buster arm for Nero.
Yeah.
And that was something that was a very powerful move that you had in Devil May Cry 4 for him, where you could use it to just get through enemy defenses, pick them up, slam them on the ground, or counter them in specific instances, throw things back to your enemies. But if that's a special arm in Devil May Cry 5, like that's something you're going to want to be able to do, and so that arm is going to be valuable to you. But if you want to do other things, you lose that very valuable thing, and that reminds me of just switching the styles on the fly in Devil May Cry 4. And what was so satisfying about that is it's like, I want to do all of these things that these styles can do, but I have to figure out a way. I have to come up with a game plan during this fight, make split-second decisions about what I want when, and have the dexterity to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And I think, of course, I don't really know if it's going to be exactly like that, but it seems comparable, and that's a good sign to me. That was extremely fun in Devil May Cry 4. So, yeah. But a wash overall. I'm with you, 100%.
Yeah, it just, there's good stuff in there. It just takes so long to get to any of it.
Yeah.
Just really having to sift through it all.
It's something where I would recommend to people, like, hey, just catch the highlights, skip through this. Like, that's the best way to enjoy this episode, I think.
Great. Well, thank you, everyone who has joined us this morning or afternoon, wherever you are. We are Easy Allies, and we will be back here tonight on Twitch doing our group stream. We're going to be playing Shenmue HD.
Yeah.
Getting a little bit into the story, but then just kind of messing around in the world a bit. And then you can also find us on youtube.com/EasyAllies, where most of our shows and podcasts and reviews go. Brad's Guacamelee 2 review went up this morning just before this went live, so check that out. And then all of this is thanks to the support of our fans, of our patrons. Go to patreon.com/EasyAllies to see how you can support us. For just $1 a month, you get a lot of exclusives, like spoiler mode discussions, like Brandon's weekly Cup of Jones update, and then $5 and up gets you early access to many of our shows. And we just announced 3 new goals this week, so go by and check out that post and see what we can do in the future as we are inching ever closer to getting a new studio space. So yeah, thanks Ben for pushing for this to happen. Ben was the driving force.
It was really just about that Devil May Cry, and that was a very small part of this for me. But we saw some other cool stuff, and it was worth it just to see Dante split his motorcycle in 2. So yeah. Thanks for coming in early, Blood, for that.
For sure.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.